Hello there, welcome back to Random Show episode number 129 with your host Agostinho Zinga. This is Random Show episode number 129. Let me get my lips and my tongue sorted out. Random Show episode number 129 with your illustrious host Agostinho Zinga, and I'm so happy to join you once again today. Apologies for the delay, as per usual. Had to sort out some last minute things, but you know the deal, you know how it is. So we're right back at you, coming in right now, as Crash is saying, firing the kid, coming at you live. So big up everybody that's in here. I do appreciate every single one of you that's joining in. As per usual, if you're joining into this live stream and you're enjoying it, you love what you see, and you want to give me a bit of love, make sure you're smashing that like button down below to make sure that the algorithm knows that you're enjoying it so it can recommend it. I'm not too sure if that actually happens or if that actually is true, but I like repeating it because everyone else has to repeat it. So I forget to, not say it. What were you guys saying in the chat here? Kasto's Mode is saying, thank you for apologizing for the delay as usual. Hey man, it is what it is, yo. It is what it is. You know the deal. You know the deal. You know the deal. You know the deal. No point telling you my dog ate my homework. You know how it is. Big up Uche in the chat. I see you. Big up Gamebred Footballer. I see you. KC SHFL. I see you. Jordan Ray. Bew, I see you. Who else is in here? Big up Jesse Black. Big up you. Oh yeah, also, by the way, those of you who have not joined in on the Discord, I have updated. I'm pretty sure I have updated the link. Let me just double check it. But I'm pretty sure I have updated the link of the Discord. Yeah, there's a join the Discord link in the description down below. So if you're not a part of the Discord, please make sure you join in there. I'm actually planning to do a little, a little fan call-in show type of thing that I was meant to be doing for my birthday stream. So if you're around, I'm probably going to do it on Wednesday. So if you guys are around, make sure you jump in on the Discord. I'll only be available for Discord members. So join in. The Discord link should be in the description. So once you join into the Discord, I'll do a little phone-in thing on a Wednesday, I think, when I'm off from work. And we'll do a little daytime call-in type of thing before I go out. Because I'm planning to do a little DJ set live at fucking Pirate Studios. So I think before I leave in the morning, I'll do a little call-in thing. We can all sit around and chat and shit, and maybe watch some clips and shit. So if you're not part of the Discord, please make sure you jump on in there and get involved in that. It's going to be fun. Apart from that, what else is going on? That's it, really. That's it. A bit of a jam-packed show to get in on till today. Catching up on some stuff that I left over the weekend. And obviously prep for some stuff probably going to be announced this week because there's all the shows dropping and shit. Podcasts back up and running and everybody doing what they should be doing this weekend in terms of content, podcasts, all those comedians, blah, 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 blah. You know the deal, innit? So anyway, apart from that, I don't want to waste too much more of your time because I've already been delayed. Or I already delayed the stream long enough. So let's just jump right on into it. If you guys are not aware, just the other day, it had been announced courtesy of Elon Musk on Twitter itself that he's now going to be changing Twitter to become X. So the corporate branding of Twitter is going to look with the X on it, which is similar to what he's got on his Twitter account. So on his Twitter account, he's got this little graphic that plays. Let me just take off the fucking volume so it's not on. But it's just basically this little like logo that kind of flips from the bird sort of logo to just the X sign sort of thing. You can see that there, right? It's a bit buffery, I know, but that's basically what he's doing. Let's go back to the Financial Times article to read a little bit more about it because I'm still a little bit confused as to what the point of this is. But it might be tied into his AI company that he's going to be doing going forward. So it says here, Elon Musk says Twitter will become X in corporate rebranding. Elon Musk plans to replace Twitter's iconic bird logo with an X in a major corporate rebranding that comes as the company has struggled to attract advertising in its battling increased competition. Musk announced the revamp on Sunday, saying on the social media platform that soon we shall bid adieu to the Twitter brand and gradually all the birds. If a good enough X logo is posted tonight, it will make it go live worldwide tomorrow. So some random person on fucking social media had already another brand, I think for a podcast they use the X for, and they basically just gave it to Musk. You know how guys are on Twitter, innit? If ever you want to see like male groupies, go on Twitter and see fucking some of the, like, I like Elon too. He's like, he's like a geek's dream in terms of all the inventions and companies and shit, right? Like a real life Tony Stark thing. I get it. But some of the groupies that fucking Elon has on Twitter are so gross. It legitimately is nauseating how much these grown men fucking love fucking Elon. I think it's even worse than when Steve Jobs was around. Honestly, I swear to God, I think the Elon kind of loving and fandom is probably worse than the Steve Jobs fanboys and stuff. Honestly, it's absolutely crazy. But anyway, that being said, it continues here. It says Musk announced a revamp on Sunday, saying the social media platform will soon bid adieu to a Twitter brand, and gradually all the birds, if a good enough X is posted tonight, will make it go live. So it will basically get branded to X and not be Twitter anymore, which is interesting rebrand. Musk has already made significant changes to Twitter since he bought the company last year, changing its name to X Corp in filings as part of the plans to create an everything app under the name X. A brand X, sorry. On Sunday, Linda Yasa, how do you say her name? Linda Yaccarino, is it Yaccarino? No, Linda Yaccarino, Twitter's new CEO, laid out the vision for X at a meeting with top marketers in Napa, California, making a plea to those present to work with the company on its new ambition as changes start to roll out in the coming weeks. The company's plan to shift from being a text-focused platform to integrating more audio, video, payments features is also looking to woo advertisers as well as partners with broadcasters or payment groups. So it looks like more of a company advertising way, like in general, to kind of generate more money. I guess they can't do it now with maybe because of the smudge of Twitter and how it's kind of looked upon. Maybe it's a thing, but it looks to be more of a thing that's kind of driven more to do with advertising as opposed to just bringing everything under one banner, which makes a lot of sense, isn't it? I guess it's sort of similar to when Facebook had to do their big rebrand, with the whole meta kind of, thing kind of being all encompassing. Yasa Carino says, also to the board of Mobile Marketing Association, a trade association for marketers, that the company also plans to wield artificial intelligence by working closely with Musk's new AI company, XAI. According to Twitter, Twitter data could be used to train the AI models developed by XAI. In the turn, XAI technology could be used to improve Twitter, the company said. X is the future state of unlimited interactivity in audio, video, messaging, payment, banking, and creating a global marketplace for ideas, goods, and services and opportunities, says Yasa Carino. Powered by AI, X will connect us all in ways that we are just beginning to imagine. Twitter has come under increasing pressure since Musk closed his $44 billion acquisition for the company in October. The billionaire entrepreneur has slashed the workforce as he cut his cost, while radical policy changes have frustrated users and advertisers. With advertising revenues falling by half, the company is teetering on the edge of bankruptcy. Jesus, God almighty, I didn't know it was that bad. The platform's latest challenge came in this month when rival Meta attracted tens of millions of users on Threads. Its long-awaited Twitter competitor, Twitter, has threatened to sue Meta, alleging that it stole the company's trade secrets when creating its messaging app. By the way, how many of you motherfuckers are still on Threads? I'm not. I fucking signed up for that shit, checked it out, and just bounced. Fucking garbage. I haven't used it since it fucking released, and I think a lot of people haven't either. I think if you generally don't like Twitter and you think Twitter's a bit of a cesspool, mostly you're gonna jump off it anyway. But I haven't fucking used Threads since it launched. Fucking garbage. Yeah, people saying it never signed up in the first place, not even on Insta. Fair enough. Musk has a history of changing his mind after making public pronouncements. If he follows through with the rebranding, it would mark just the latest attempt to turn the company around. In May, he appointed Yasa Carino, NBC's Universal's former head of advertising, as Twitter's chief in an effort to woo back dozens of big advertisers that had deserted the platform over Musk's unorthodox leadership style and looser content moderation. I've actually read in some various places that Elon Musk tends to do a lot better when he's working within leadership with people who are women. For some reason, he just tends to work better with them. I'm not too sure what that is all about, whether it's because he's got a strong relationship with his mom. I'm not sure what the deal is, but he specifically kind of picked out this woman because she essentially reminded him of other women that he's worked in the workforce, so he's kind of got along with really well, which is really interesting, isn't it? Considering how he acts and goes on, and considering the legion of fucking male fans that he has that would do just about anything for him, he tends to really work better with women. I wonder what that's all about. Anyway, continuing. Musk has said advertisers are returning to Twitter, but he's continued to upset his users. He sparked backlash this month after announcing that the social media platform was putting temporary limits on a number of posts users are able to view. Earlier this month, Musk said that the company had not yet reached positive cash flow, despite suggesting in May. Hey, big up that Indian dude. Appreciate you, brother. That's a really good point, actually. I'm gonna read that again. That's a really good point. Big up that Indian, did appreciate the $5 super chat. Billionaire cheerleading is the male version of Yas queening. Musk is our Lizzo, except his grocery bills aren't the size around his GDP. That's really, really, really true. I'm not gonna lie. Some of the fucking, honestly, I always think I'm a fan of somebody, then I go on Twitter and realize, you know what? I just like what they do. I'm not a fan the same way as other people are fans on Twitter. Honestly, some of the fans on Twitter of certain people legitimately make you not want to like them anymore. You know, goes for Drake, goes for Beyonce, it goes for Nicki Minaj, it goes for fucking who else I can think of on there. Obviously, Elon Musk being a good example. Some of the stands on there are just so nauseating in their praise. Even the Lex Friedman ones that are just sucking him off, trying to be his friend. It's like, bro, this dude's just about a barely functioning human being. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't want to be a friend. I guarantee he doesn't want to be a friend. So I find that very, very bizarre. But that being said, let's finish the end bit here. It says Twitter's light blue bird logo is the company's most recognizable asset, says its website, familiar with the people around the world. It was named Larry T. the Bird by Twitter co-founder Biz Stone, after Larry Bird, the famous former basketball player. So we'll see what I'll go on with it going forward, but that's the rebrand they're doing. They're going to rebrand Twitter to X to kind of move things forward in a different direction. As you can see here, there's some early mock-ups of what maybe the flipping logos will look like on your phone when you got the Twitter app on your fucking iPhone and shit. On the left, you got the standard regular logo that we all know and love with the bird logo, and then here you got this X logo brand design made. Personally, design-wise, as a former design student and whatnot, I personally think the design of that X is a bit shitty. I hate that gradient or whatever it's called, that fucking background, that layer where everyone uses that kind of looks like it's been scuffed. It's like an overused it's an overused layer where it's kind of like feels like a creased paper sort of thing, like it's kind of ripped and shit. I've never been a fan of it. I've always fucking hated it personally, but again, who am I to say something about this sort of stuff? And then of course you've got another version of it also here, where you got the app with the bird logo in the same sort of color scheme, and then you got the X glowing here. And then the next tab we've got here, report courtesy of Twitter Daily News. It says, here's what Elon Musk said to Walter Isaacson, who's the famous autobiographer who's obviously writing the autobiography to Elon Musk now. He read the famous one about Steve Jobs that is still one of the best autobiographies I've ever read. If you haven't checked it out, please do. It says here, of note, Elon confirms what's planning as a complete rebrand, and a renaming of X. So this is back in the day. He said as follows: in the days leading up to his takeover of Twitter at the end of October 2022, Musk's moods fluctuated widely. I'm very excited about finally implementing X.com, as it should have been done, using Twitter as an accelerant. He texted me out of the blue 3:30 one morning, and hopefully helping democracy and civil discourse while doing so. He said that he would turn it into a combination of financial platform and social network he had envisioned 24 years earlier with X.com, and added that he planned to rebrand it with the name which he loved. A few days later, he was more somber. I will need to live at Twitter HQ. This is a super tough situation, really bumming me out. Sleep is difficult. Here is Musk with Peter Thiel and the X.com card in 1999, and celebrating with Pappy Van Winkle, the world's best bourbon, on the day he bought Twitter. So you can see there a picture of them, and obviously the back in the day, the fucking X.com cards. So the infatuation of Elon Musk with the name X.com goes way back. Here are some excerpts from the upcoming book. When his cousin Peter revisited in early 1990, he found Musk pouring books over the banking system. So you can see there with the X card, And in the next tab here, we've got an update courtesy of Linda Yassacarino, who's obviously the CEO over there at Twitter, that says the following: it's an exceptionally rare thing in life, in business, that you get a second chance to make a big first impression. Twitter made one massive impression and changed the way we communicate. Now X will go further, transforming the global town square. I hate that term, but it is what it is. X is the future state of unlimited interactivity centered in audio, video, messaging, payments, and banking. Powered by AI, X will connect us all to ways we're just beginning to imagine. For years, fans and critics alike have pushed Twitter to dream bigger, to innovate faster, and to fulfill our greater potential. X will do that and more. We're already starting to see X take shape over the past 8 months through our rapid feature launches, but we're just getting started. I'm assuming started. It continues here as it loads up. Bear with me a second. There's absolutely no limit to this transformation. X will be a platform that can deliver well anything. Elon Musk and I are already looking forward to working with our teams and every single one of our partners to bring X to the world. So big up them. Let's see what happens and how that rolls. What's the replies here? This is complete gibberish. Lols. Daniel, dude, big up you. Yo, big up the two notorious chats in the troll, Bu and Rigo. Be on your best behavior, motherfuckers, or everyone's going to ban world. But no. Big up that Indian dude. Appreciate you for the heads up, my friend. Hopefully everyone's well behaved and acts like an adult in the chat. If not, then I guess we just have to kind of leave it as it is, isn't it? What can we do? What can we do? Jakub Janowski says the only thing that past 8 months have shown is the current management is incompetent and Twitter has been sabotaging itself, especially recently with BS restrictions. So some people are not happy, some people are. Let's see how that plays out. And then, of course, the last thing, of course, you got that little image there, courtesy of Elon Musk's Twitter. So let's see how it plays out. Eager to see the changes going forward. Already there's some people celebrating over the week. I'm not sure if you guys seen it. People basically were able to get loads of money through Twitter because they turned on their ad revenue sharing platform side of things. That's allowing people to essentially make money for tweeting and shit, which is pretty cool. I feel like, because I feel like a lot of the, having spent some time on Twitter the last couple of years since the pandemic, I feel like a lot of the kind of viral news and content and memes sort of like gets birthed from Twitter and then kind of goes out to various different platforms and then gets birthed in its own little way. It kind of gets redone in its own way, if that makes sense. So I feel like it's quite nice to finally see people who do primarily make their content on Twitter kind of get rewarded for that. Because even if it does go and live a whole new life on Insta or on YouTube or on Snapchat or on TikTok, at least you get paid from the point of origin. And that's something that didn't really happen before in the past. So I'm kind of glad that some people are able to make some money off the back of that, because I feel like before that wasn't actually a thing for other people. So hopefully it can kind of continue and we can see more of that going forward. Eager and happy to see that happening and changing. Please bear with me 1 second. My dropped frames kind of moved. Cool. No more dropped frame now. That's good. Let's continue on here. I quickly want to skip ahead and give a little update on here and see this. So this is Courtesy of the Fire and the Kid, episode number 911, right? And people are saying that Bill Bellamy just kind of got up randomly. No, not randomly. Towards the end of the show, I guess, or when they were wrapping up, and just decided to leave. He didn't even wait for them to like tell him he could leave. He just got up and left himself. Let me see if I can find it. Is that the end of the show? I think they're probably hyping it, weren't they? Okay, there it is at the end. There he is here at the end. He just kind of got up towards the end and didn't really say too much. I think when they were all plugging their dates. So let's actually watch that bit of the fucking clip. I think this might be pretty cool. So towards the end of episode number 911, if you scroll down to the end here where they're doing their plugs, let's see here. He just kind of gets up as they're talking. Let's see. Let me see what happens here. So let's start from here. Kevin, Wesley Snipes and Kevin Hart series. Let's see what they're talking about here. And let's bring down a bit rate so my computer doesn't fucking crash and cry, because the encoding error is going a bit crazy. It says put it into 480 and see if that works. Yeah, cool, let's do this. Oh no, there's no fucking sound. My bad. My bad. My bad. My bad. Let's start again. Let's start again. I forgot to put the sound. Absolute idiot. Please bear with me. Let's go again.
Mom, he was really quiet. He kept to himself. It's always
He never bothered anybody.
There's a trailer of a movie I'm not
No,
allowed
we can't promote. He's on Love Sub.
I'm allowed to promote it.
Oh,
Am I?
you
Or maybe not.
How good was Wesley Snipes in that Kevin Hart series on
killed it.
Netflix?
Oh my God.
Oh
good.
my
I
God.
forgot about that.
Good.
He was
True
so
story.
Damn, he was good. True story. That was a great.
Yo, that was a
He's
good.
Wesley
That was a-
Snipes.
How
is a
that didn't get
great
more
actor.
attention, I have no clue.
What's he?
what
He's cool as
Wesley
shit too, right?
Snipes told me, which is a bizarre fact. His character Blade saved Marvel.
Really?
Marvel was on the way down.
Especially at that time. Yeah, hell yeah.
Marvel was on the way down, and they didn't know that the Blade would work. Blade pulled Marvel out the ground.
To what it is now, man.
I didn't even know Blade was a Marvel comic.
Yeah.
Hey, yo, I'm not even that kind of guy, and no homo, and I don't really care about this sort of shit. But yo, Bill Bellamy needs to like not wear sweats when he's going on podcasts, because I can't take my eyes off my guy's piece. It's just dangalang in there, isn't it? He's got his legs fucking spread eagle. He's doing the old man spreading shit, and you just can't take your eyes off his little fucking man meat. You know what I mean? Like, he needs to probably put on some jeans or some trousers or some shit. Cause fuck me, Bill Bellamy. He can't wear those sweats to podcasts. Please, for the love of God, this is a fucking children's zone. Yeah, I mean, I'm only fucking 16. That thing is fucking hanging.
Yeah.
Did you know? I didn't know. I didn't know it was a Marvel character.
He spent 3 years in jail or something, right? Is that how long?
Less
Or
than
less?
that.
I
Less
think
than that.
I think he liked it too. Yeah.
That's a long time.
Yeah, and he paid,
And he paid.
and he still had to go to jail.
But he's got money now, I hope.
Yeah, he's cool. But I'm saying, like he said,
He's a good guy, man,
he was
right?
just-
You know, these guys don't hang around and fight black people because you can already tell he's kind of over it. He kind of wants to go home, but they're still fucking talking. You know what I mean? If you've hung around fucking, you know, enough fucking blacks and enough of us fucking Africans and niggas, you'll know, right? When we're done, we're done. And he's giving these little sly little signs that he's kind of over it. He kind of wants to go home, but they're just still talking, rapping on, wasting his fucking time, talking about fucking Wesley Snipes that they give a shit. But he wants to go home already. So I'm eager to see how he just gets up here.
it's like, dude, I paid them. They knew what was going on, but they just wanted to make an example out of me. Wow.
Now Wesley's a guy who came up
nuts.
through. He came up through the New York acting program. Like he's a trained thespian.
Real deal.
Like he can dance.
He's
he can
such
do
a
it
good
all.
actor.
Martial arts.
Tu Wong Fu? What?
He's got it all.
So what do you guys do now? After now, you guys.
I go home.
You go home. You chill.
Yeah,
I go
man.
work out, and then I go home.
Yeah.
What kind of workout you doing?
I do a 20-minute thing with a 65-year-old strongman in a parking lot.
Sounds gay.
It's just body maintenance.
So what? He just throws you around?
Just
Like
different.
wrestling
I do,
stuff?
no, yeah, we just might wrestle.
Little oil?
I just do different like circuit stuff. So one day I'll do deadlifts, pull-ups, dips, whatever it might be. I never know. It sucks.
So he just throws
It's a
some at
tough
you.
20 minutes.
It's only 20.
Yeah, but it's a bitch. Like
You
he
look jacked. It's working.
goes, thank you, man. I'm very jacked. No, but that's it. That's it. Even if you wanted to put on muscle and really get serious, he'd work you out 20 minutes, 25 minutes. But the way he does it,
You.
it's like that CrossFit stuff. But he doesn't believe in CrossFit because you get injured. But
Right.
like the way he does it is I'm
Well, you
done.
look
Bill, you're in August. You're in Denver Improv Comedy Theater. Where's that at in
This
Denver?
fucking podcast.
You know?
in
Honestly, I'm no one to mention. I'm not one to talk about it because I'm just a fucking very small, minuscule, minor, off at the side of the fucking internet content creator, wherever I'm fucking am. But this podcast is fucking brutal. We've just skipped, don't go right, the majority of it, and we're just towards the end. We want to see Bill Bellamy just get up and leave. But God Almighty, mate, this is like legitimately horrendous. This reminds me of, like, you know, when you get stuck in a fucking kitchen with a work colleague you don't really speak to that often, but you just need to kind of have a bit of small chat while you're fucking, I don't know, pot noodles in the fucking microwave or some shit. This is the kind of conversation it kind of reminds you of. This aimless, you know, chitty chatter just to waste time. Neither of you actually want to be there. Neither of you also talk to each other, but you just have to kind of, you know, exchange some words because you happen to be in the same physical space. God Almighty.
August. Where am I now?
Where is
Because
that?
you're in Helium, St. Louis Helium, coming up July 27th through the 29th.
Improv in Denver?
Denver Improv Comedy Theater.
No,
It's a new one?
It's a Denver Improv, yeah. Because they got, the other one they have is called Comedy Works.
Yeah, I just did that.
we've done Comedy Works.
You do Comedy Works?
I haven't done Comedy Works in about 10 years.
He moves the,
I
moves the
did
mic
it when I
away.
was on. The last time I did it, I was
He's about to
hosting.
leave. He moves the mic away. Look at it.
Damn.
I think that was 2000.
Fang,
So you're doing a
dangling.
theater, though. That's the theater.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a comedy theater.
I got a couple theaters in there, like
Go down, Chin.
scroll up a little bit,
Scroll up.
scroll up. So that's August, September, and October. I got some theaters in there.
I love it, man.
I'm doing that. I'm doing that Peacock Theater here. Raleigh.
What the fuck is this show?
Cap City would be fun.
Cap
What
City.
the
I'm
fuck
going
up
to be
this
there
show?
August 3rd, 4th, 5th. Excited.
That's a nice room. Levity Live.
Yes, it is.
I've never done it in West Nyack.
Oh, what's this? Courtesy of Severe Design. Big up you, my guy. You know, one thing I've noticed no one has been mentioning is that Bobby Lee voice, Brendan has now started calling out guest show dates instead of letting them plug. Really? I haven't noticed that at all. To be fair, I don't watch the show. I need to probably start watching the show and doing live streams of it, actually going through the entire thing, because I'm sure there's stuff that I miss out on that doesn't even get posted on the Fire and the Kids sub. I probably need to start doing that, to be fair. But I didn't know that. That's a bit of a weird thing to do, isn't it? Like plugging people's dates for them. I think most comedians do. Hey, to be fair, I quite like what Thingy does. I'm not gonna lie. I quite like what Luis J. Gomez does on his show, Rap, and maybe a few others, where he introduces the guests at the beginning and then lets them do their plugs. Like, okay, like tell us, where they can find you, what you got going on in the beginning of the show to get out of the way, then you just go on with the show. I kind of like that. I don't know if they do it again in the end, but I kind of like how they just do it at the end, at the beginning, and just get out of the way. Personally, if it was me, I think most comedy shows, because I don't know, these guys are obsessed with fucking selling tickets and doing shows, but I don't really ever listen to the shows that they do and where they go. Maybe because I'm not in America, it's a bit different, but I would prefer if they just did the show, be amazingly funny, and then say, hey guys, if you want to see me come do comedy next, when you're near a town near you, go to my website, whatever the URL is, and see if I've got any dates near there, and if you've got suggestions, there's a suggestion box. Just say that. You don't need to list all your fucking dates. You know what I mean? Every single one in fucking detail. It's fucking annoying, obnoxious, exhausting, self-obsessed, and just fucking annoying.
That too.
Yeah, you'll like it. It's just beautiful. The way they got it set up is really nice.
Yeah, I've heard good things.
Columbus is set up nice.
Yep.
Yep,
Funny
I'm
Bone.
Columbus. Yep,
That's a
I'm
nice
there in
room.
August.
Yep.
You know what I just did that's a really nice room that you guys would like? Milwaukee.
Oh,
best.
bro.
It's a
Milwaukee
new one.
Improv?
Right?
Bro.
When's that time you did
Bad.
it?
It's been almost 2 years now.
It's
No,
bad.
a year.
Have you done since they reopened it?
right?
Oh, it's great. Yeah.
It's great.
Oh
It might be the
my
best improv.
God.
I'm not. Did you open that club?
Yeah.
Okay, because I was right behind you.
Yeah.
So it's been 2
I
years.
was one of the first ones, but
Yeah.
that club is dope.
Dope.
I walked down. I was like, in Milwaukee.
Oh, that's what
What are we doing?
Yeah, man. That's a
The
good.
food's dope. It looks like a
everything.
theater. It's a big room. The staff is good.
Stress Factory, New Brunswick, New Jersey.
Milwaukee's a
Vinny
sleeper,
Brand.
man.
Huh?
Vinny.
Yo, Vinny Brand. Yeah.
Love Vinny.
So this right here is a big show, October 8th.
Fucking podcast.
Oh, the Atlantic City Comedy Festival. Bruce, Savage,
So I
Crawford,
gotta
Savage,
go, I
you.
gotta go from South Carolina to Philly.
Bro.
I don't know how I'm gonna do that.
All that travel.
That's a big. That's a.
Do you get tired of the travel? Because I do.
Yeah, but not like. I try to take off a little bit. Like
You done? You done with us?
Looking at it like that, it's just like, huh?
You done?
Yeah, I thought you said it was over.
Yeah, it's over.
Oh, it's over.
All right.
Yeah.
Sign out or no?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're done.
Bill Bellamy, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, go see him.
Oh no! Look at fucking Brian's cuck face. You see Brian's cuck face. You see Brian's face when he's talking to black. They've all got a really different demeanor when they're talking to like black people, isn't it? Right? Like Brian's got his little he tries to be like a little bit of a bro. Brendan does that thing as well. But look at Brian's face. Look at Brian's little reach up it's like little. Look at his little face. Look at his little old face. Look.
Sign out or no?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're done.
Bill Bellamy, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen.
That's the face he makes when he doesn't see Joe Rogan in like 6 weeks.
Oh, it's over.
All right.
Yeah.
Sign out or no?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're done.
Bill Bellamy, everybody.
Look at that face. Look at that face. My nigga. That's what he wants to say, isn't it? My nigga. Look at redacted. Look at that. My nigga. What's good, brother? Man, what's good, my fucking brother? What's good, my fellow colored? He wants to say some words there. Yo, the emancipation was fucking wild. I'm all for affirmative action. Why can't Black History Month be 2 months? How come the gays can have a whole month and you guys get 28 days? Oh my God, I love Kendrick Lamar, you know? That's his face. I love Kendrick Lamar. Look at him. Look at his little face. Look at his little face.
Ladies and gentlemen, go see him. You're the best, man. No, you're good.
Like me.
Lulu, he's touching it. No. Oh, but Bill Bellamy got up there like a fucking G. Midway through the conversation, he just stood up. Oh, that was fucking perfect, man. That was absolutely.
That's my time, man.
He just gets up and goes.
myself out.
You walk off like Biden.
Brendan was kind of offended in the middle. He's kind of offended. He gets a bit pissed off. Brendan gets a bit pissed off. Look,
Yeah,
look
but
at Brendan's
not
face.
I try to take off a little bit, like.
You done with us?
Before he checks out his piece, nice. He gives a little. He gives a little back. He gives the bum and the piece a good little once over, but he's not too happy.
I try to take off a little bit, like.
You done with us?
Like that,
You done?
yeah, I thought you said it was over.
Yeah, it's over.
Oh, it's over.
Look, he gives Brian the look like, look at this guy. Look at his blacks. Look at these black motherfuckers. This had to get rid of fucking Malik. These blood motherfuckers come in here, they think they can run this space. He's got his fucking, you know, he's got his January 6th haircut going on there, right? Brandon's got his little Jan 6 haircut. Like, what's going on here, right? These motherfuckers think they can come in our country with no skills, just a smile and a good personality. He's not happy in the slightest. Oh,
yeah.
Big up Bill
Sign out or
Bellamy.
no?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're done.
Bill Bellamy, everybody.
Look at Brian. Look at Brian, a little cuck. Look at him. Look at Brian, man. Oh, Brian's face here is fucking amazing. He's like a little child. Oh, but big up Bill Bellamy, man. You're an absolute G. I love how he just walked out there. To be fair, it usually is quite awkward at the end of pods, depending on fucking, you know, how they do it and shit. But yeah, big up Bill. Like what people were saying in the chat. Bill, like when you finally get that 8-ball and can leave the trap. Exactly. You have to. You're done with all the fucking small talk. You know, asking your dealer about this and that, or the fucking local, you know, whoever nitties are in there talking their shit. You got your stuff. You ready to go back home, pour yourself out a little bit of whiskey and get fucking naughty. And here, you know what I mean? Oh, mate, that was fucking brilliant. Big up Bill Bellamy, man. Big up Bill Bellamy. Absolute amazing guy. Oh my God, that was absolutely phenomenal. He didn't even wait. Too much ambling comments, but honestly, there was a point in time where the Fighting the Kid was the place to be, but now it's just like another stop on the fucking, you know, on the train of, what's that thing called? Of PR, right? When you're doing PR for whatever Bill Bellamy is doing PR for. Maybe he's got a special out, I'm not really too sure, because I think he was on Tiger Belly recently, so it's just another stop that you go on now. It's not, no one really gives a shit. No one really respects them because they're Rogan's friends anymore. You know what I mean? So that kind of, that allure they once have is definitely gone. So people just go there, do the show, and kind of leave. So it kind of is what it is. And I think, I'm not really too sure. What do you guys think? I know, oddly enough, Ari Shaffir gets a bad reputation, or it has a bad reputation for, you know, some admittedly bad things. But I know him to be the only comedian who I've heard of who pays his guests. I know on his show, his podcast, which is honestly one of the best out there, he does some really good interviews and kind of, you know, stories and shit about his travels. But he actually gives his guests like 200, I think it's like £200, $200 or something. Guess I come with his pod. but I don't think other pods pay their guests, do they? What do you guys think? I don't think they do pay, but I definitely know Ari Shafir does. It's like a thing that he does. He likes to give his fans, people that come in and kind of be guests on the show, especially if they're struggling comics and stuff, you'll give them like $200 and shit, which is fucking awesome. And it's sick as well because a lot of people that he gets on there are legit, stand-ups who, aren't the most famous people in the world, and you can see, how happy they are to get that $200 because that can go a long way in terms of like, making sure you cover your nut for the week or for the month, especially if you've got enough gigs going through. So it's quite nice to see him paying them for their time and shit. But I think other shows probably don't do that. I doubt TFATK is paying guests. So if you're not paying me, I'm gonna leave when I want to leave. You know what I mean? Like, let's be for real. If I'm gone, I'm gone. I mean, just do like a Wings of Redemption thing. Wings of Redemption when he's playing fucking Rainbow. Is it Rainbow? Is it Rainbow, that fucking shooting game? Wings of Redemption. If he's not having a good game or he's not enjoying himself, he just ducks out of the lobby. He doesn't even say bye to his team. So usually when you're playing those type of games, you say bye. Hey guys, I'm off now. I'm a bit tired. I need to go to sleep or whatever. He doesn't say nothing. He just turns off his computer and exit the game. Doesn't say a fucking word. I think that would be pretty cool thing to do if you're on the pod. You just get bored of what they're talking about. You just think, you know what? You just turn off your fucking mic and you fucking you disconnect from the chat, disconnect from the call. That'd be fucking sick. Moving on. Big up Austin Casey. I appreciate you, man.
Big up as. Holy hell, you're the only one that can make me laugh this hard over Brian Callen's stupid face.
Big up Austin Casey. Yeah. We have to laugh at Brian Callen's stupid face, man. But Brian Callen, guys, a fucking gift that keeps on giving. Big up you, Austin Casey. I appreciate you for the $10 super chat, my friend. But yeah, I don't know. Brian Callen's like an odd creature. You can tell he's grown up somewhat rich, like he's not really grown up in like regular life. Like he's a little bit like Bert in that way. It's a bit of a Arrested Development with Brian. Because he's like 56 or whatever how old he is, but he doesn't really carry himself like a 56-year-old. He doesn't speak like one. He doesn't have the life experiences of one. He's sort of like weird, like a really big adult trust fund kid, which I still think he is. I'm still of the belief that he's one of those kids that legitimately has he's still one of those people that has a trust fund, legit. It wouldn't surprise me in the least if we heard that sort of thing come out sooner rather than later. Like his parents are kind of paying his way still now, so that is Brian Callen for us. Next on the list here, we've got something to talk about here regarding this post courtesy of the Fire and the Kids subreddit, which I thought was very, very interesting because it kind of posed an interesting question, and I feel like I could maybe provide some answer as to why this may be the case. So it's courtesy of the Fire and the Kids sub. As you can see here, it's courtesy of your user called username 850. And they say the following. It's called Don't Feed the Trolls. It says, something has been bugging me for years about Brendan Schaub's situation, and I'm struggling to understand why. The commonly advised best tactic for lolcows and celeb fools in general who come under scrutiny from the internet is to simply ignore the trolls. However, most fail to do so, and end up in a cycle of taking the bait and being trolled for the rest of their life in the limelight. Surprisingly, Brendan, a guy who is considered not at all smart, has actually seemed to take this advice on board. Maybe because Rogan has a philosophy of don't read the comments, and Brendan idolizes him. Regardless for Schaub, ignoring the trolls has done seemingly nothing to deter the trolls. The simple answer is probably because people who come under fire from social media usually are under fire because of one viral incident, a tweet or something. And once the fire dies down, the trolls disengage and that person is left with their own core audience. I don't think Schaub has a core audience, and he is on almost everything he does causing some sort of incident that will cause people to point and laugh or just be annoyed by him in general. Perhaps that is the sole reason, but it's just so bizarre to me that a man who tries so hard to not acknowledge the legion of people who hate him, or who are against him, besides the suing of the Reddit fiasco, has the zero success in deterring them. I am baffled, and I can't help but wonder if it began to actually acknowledge the trolls, and if early in his career he played into the role of being that dumb guy who wouldn't be better off now. Now, my comment on this is as follows. I honestly think the reason why Brendan gets the fucking amount of hate that he does in the way that he does, personally, in my personal opinion, is this. I think his main issue is that he's just so incredibly redacted, so incredibly dumb, yet has the success of somebody that doesn't actually match his level of acumen, his level of intelligence and shit. And I think that's so jarring to a lot of people out there. They just can't wrap their head around it. Because I was thinking about it today. Think of anybody else on Brendan's level who's as dumb as him, who's as kind of like monetarily on paper successful. I know there's conversations out there about whether the guy's in debt, whether or not his dad kind of funds him, whether or not the fucking businesses actually make any money, sponsors. Okay, put that to one side. Just look at the fucking evidence that we have so far, right? He lives in most people would deem to be a nice house. He drives what people deem to be nice cars. He looks after his whole family with just his paychecks and they don't have to work. He puts his kids through private school. His wife has got expensive tastes and she doesn't look like she's ever kind of skimping on her lifestyle. Another kid's on the way. So all the markers, all the kind of things that we kind of use as barometers of like people's, you know, success in the field that they're in is there in that respect, right? The only thing maybe is lacking is maybe his comic stuff is kind of going a bit down the pan in terms of his bookings and stuff are starting to dry up a bit, and he's obviously not touring as much as he once was around the world. Cool, whatever. But I don't think there's anybody else on Brendan's level who is as dumb as he is, but as successful as he is. And I feel like over the years, for whatever reason, maybe it's a hubris, maybe it's just, you know, meant to do it, I don't know. But for some reason, he failed or refused to acknowledge the role that kind of Joe Rogan's friendship played in his ascent. And obviously, you see the role that the podcast and Brian Callen early on success played in his success. He always tried to like make it seem as, or didn't want to let go of the idea that he was the only reason why he was so successful, despite obviously being incredibly dumb. So I think that's the main reason why the hate that he gets never stops. Because I think most rational, reasonable, normal people look at him and think that's not fair. So it's a bad way to look at it, because I don't think you can compare yourself to people, and comparisons are thief of all joy. And, you know, would you really want to swap your life for his life, really? Aside from the monetary, physical things that people may like or whatever, the trappings of that success, is it really a life worth living? I probably wouldn't, in my personal opinion, but everyone's different. But I think that's a reason why this hate doesn't stop. It's similar to like DSP in a way, a little bit similar to Dark Side Phil, in that they're so demonstrably horrible people, but despite that, they seem to be somewhat successful in what they do, in that they're able to kind of work being a content creator or a streamer and shit. It legitimately just jars in people's head. They can't wrap their head around it. How is somebody that redacted able to be that quote unquote successful or a millionaire, wherever? It just doesn't make any sense. So I think that's the reason why his hate is the way it is personally. And of course, he didn't do himself any favors by refusing to acknowledge or to even kind of accept that those guys like Brian and fucking Joe Rogan played any role in his success, any meaningful role. He was never really sincere about it. Whenever he did kind of admit to it, he kind of just admitted to it just to kind of seem like he was somewhat human. But I don't honestly think deep down in his heart he honestly believes that they did anything for him. He probably still thinks he did it all by himself. That's how much of a, you know, narcissist and an ego maniac he is in that respect. So I think that's the reason why the whole don't feed the troll things has never worked for him, and why the trolls don't seem to ever let up either, because I think more people stumble across him, find out how redacted he is, and are just like, hold on, how is this person alive, number one, and how is it possible that they are on paper a lot more successful than I am? You know, they just don't get it. They just can't understand it. They don't get it. It doesn't seem fair. And then they just go down a rabbit hole, and then little by little they start to realize, oh, this is what's going on now. And then it kind of turns into what it turns into. That's my personal opinion. What do you guys think in the chat? If you're redacted or not, what do you guys think? But if Brendan is such a good guy, why did he bully the roommates by stealing his food and throwing it in the window? Exactly. Say, I understand Mike Tyson more than I understand Papa. You can be dumb if you're an athlete, but a stand-up is Zaki 730. I agree with that. Papa's most used feature on Twitter and Insta is the block button. Agree. He's the guy that bullied everyone in high school. But yeah, cool. And what you're saying, yeah, same for the Bert thing too. Same thing for Bert. I don't know if I agree with that, Uche. Same thing. I don't know if I agree with that. I don't think I agree with that. I think the Bert thing, unfortunately for some people, yeah, I don't think I agree with that one. I think the Bert thing, unfortunately for some people, a lot of it just stems from like him just maybe just taking what he has for granted. I think more so. Yeah, exactly, Uche. So many alcoholics are jealous that Bert cracked the code. Exactly. That's like I was trying to get at. I think it's twofold. There's a half of Bert's audience that just think he takes what he has for granted. Maybe they don't want to copy his fucking lifestyle, but they think to themselves, fuck, man, imagine if I had opportunity to make money just talking to a microphone and chatting shit on fucking podcasts, right? And I got to do it from the comfort of my own home studio. I got to incorporate my family into it. People loved my wife and she could make content as well. They'd be loving it. And then I guess there's another half of the community of his fans or haters who are like, you know, in their own way functioning alcoholics who don't get the same opportunities that Bert does, don't live the life that he does, and just think it's unfair, especially in this kind of economy that we're in, right? There's somewhat mild recession, unemployment through the roof. There are some people who are really down bad, and they probably, you know, didn't go to college for as long as fucking Bert did. What was it, like 7 years or some shit? And they just can't figure out why. You know, they can't figure out why exactly this is happening. They just can't figure it out. So I kind of get it. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of get it. I just don't understand why they don't understand it. Like, I think if you're objective and you look at them from the outside in, it's easy to see why people would not like Brendan Schaub. You know what I mean? He's a very unlikable character. In the same way, or in the opposite way, that fucking Theo is very likable. You should be able to see how you're viewed, I think. Whether or not you change is your prerogative. I think Ari Shaffir is a master of that. Ari Shaffir kind of knows why people don't like him, but he's also kind of, you know, very nonchalantly doesn't really give a fuck about what you think about him and is refusing to change. He kind of doubles down on what he's like. His fans who like it, who those who don't. But he's very much in that sort of mindset of, I'm going to keep my niche fans by just being unapologetically me all the time and being okay with the people that don't like the version of me, because that's the only version I can give them. Whereas these guys, like the Brendans and the Berts and stuff, they have this illusion that they're fucking great guys, and they can't figure out why a regular dude who works a 9 to 5 in a building site somewhere, who doesn't get the chance even to fucking take their kids to school, they come back home, their kids are sleeping, they wake up, their kids are sleeping, they can't figure out why that guy doesn't like them. You know, it's pretty easy to fucking figure out why those guys don't like you, because, you know, if they had opportunities that you do to live the life that you did, they'd be, you know, making the most of it. But anyway, moving on from that one, let's look at this clip again. Courtesy of Final Kid Subreddit. This is courtesy of them. It's called, the title is Bappa talking about THICCC deal again. So this is a separate pod, I guess, with what's his name? Oh, I forgot what his name is again. But it's, I think it's on Trug Walk it's on Food Truck Diaries. So let's quickly check this out. This looks pretty cool. This might be a cool clip to see what he's saying here. Yo, big up Bilal Zafar. Appreciate you.
Yes, lad.
Yes, lad, to you, Bilal Zafar. Appreciate you. Thank you for the $2 super chat, my friend. Appreciate the fucking support. As always, get involved in the chat. I see you're the first time super chatter as well. So thank you for contributing and get involved in the chat, my friend. Participate. Thank you. So let's move on for this. So let's see this flipping clip. Courtesy of Atticus Sub. Let's see what Brendan's saying here.
Conor, people don't realize what Conor McGregor did with the UFC. Like, notice his whiskey it's plastered everywhere. Like, he's in cahoots with them. Like, there's a reason why he's repping UFC so hard, because it builds the company up for sales, and he made more money than everybody.
Yeah. He made a lot of. He made a killing. What's up? When we go do something like that with you? Let's get Tiger Thick on the mats. And
I know. What's up? Yeah, we had some big news coming with Tiger Thick. We had some big news. I was just in Denver signing the deal.
Listen, I got a proposition.
What do you got?
I'm thick, and my son is named after a tiger
in Aladdin. That's right.
Yeah, and so we should be sponsored by Tiger Thick.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah,
that's not a bad idea, but he's not going to do it. Great idea, never met him.
Could get that, yeah. We need to get some Tiger Thick on the proper 12 is in the UFC.
Yeah,
we do that.
We don't have.
And then with your distribution in Vegas, we could talk.
I'm really curious to know or to find out what's happening here. Like, why didn't Brendan, because he's obviously bigging up Conor and doing what he does best and getting on fucking, you know, on his knees and sucking up Conor McGregor. But does anybody understand why didn't Brendan just do what Conor did or other celebrities have done with their liquor brands? Where essentially you partner up with somebody who already is a pro or knows what they're doing in that sort of field, and then they essentially just do all the back end shit for you and you act as the face. Why didn't he want to do that? I don't understand why he did it his way, where it seemed like he kind of just went off on his own and tried to basically do it the same way he does it when he prints t-shirts or some shit. It's a very strange thing to do because it seems like the liquor industry is very difficult business to navigate anyway. Even if you've got all the help in the world, it's not easy to make it work. Everyone always says that, especially if you watch, like, you know, some of the YouTubers I follow who go down the journey of making their own shit. They always talk about how hard it is to do, and you know, all the legislation, all the legalities and red tape and all this stuff. So I don't get why Brendan didn't do the same thing. I really don't understand it. Why didn't he just, I guess it's a term like white labeling. I don't know what the term is, but why didn't he just use the same companies that all these brands use to kind of push his fucking product and then just use it and be the front of it? I wonder why he had to go down his path, because I felt like even though the fucking name of the whiskey is terrible, the bottle design of it isn't great. It kind of looks like, you know, soy sauce bottle or vinegar bottle or something. And, you know, the label's too big and everything around it is a bit weird. I feel like he kind of gave himself a bit of a mountain to climb up by just doing it on his own. And now he's basically trying to paint this narrative, as Brendan does, where he tries to make it seem like everything is going well. And now he's making this whole lie that he was signing a deal. And I don't know, Brendan kind of is like, it's a hard one to read because one part of me believes he's a pathological liar, but another part of me thinks, would he really make up that entire business trip he did to Denver, where he allegedly met, what's his face? Aubrey Marcus, the On It guy, and then Aubrey Marcus was with Aaron Rodgers, right, the quarterback, and allegedly like they wanted to get into business with him, and I guess he's kind of putting out there without saying it that they want to get in business with him because they basically want to maybe take over the brand, because I guess in whiskey, that's the thing that can happen. Like somebody can have a brand, it doesn't go well, and then I guess you can maybe take it over and just rename it, right? I guess. And maybe that can happen. I'm not too sure what the deal is, but that's what he's sort of suggesting. It kind of feels like they want to either buy him out of it and rebrand it, or they want to be partners and relaunch it. I don't know. But part of me thinks if Brendan Schaub did go to Denver and he happened to be in a room with Aubrey Marcus and Aaron Rodgers talking business, he would have took a picture. He would have took a picture in the lift. He would have took a picture on the way to the office. He would have took a picture as they're standing around, as they're in a car, especially if it's a fancy car or something. He would have made it known on social. The fact that there's no pictures of it, no pictures of his trip there, like, I don't know. I'm kind of feeling like it didn't happen, you know? And I don't want to feel like that, because I feel like he can't be that much of a liar to lie about an entire business meeting. But this is Brendan Schaub we're talking about. He does come across like a bit of a pathological liar, so maybe that was the case. But I'm really curious as to why he didn't just use one of those already companies that exist and just get them to, you know, I don't know, do all the back end shit for him, distribution and shit, and then he could just work on the fucking, you know, selling front of it and being the face of it personally. I just don't understand that side of things. That's the only thing that makes no sense to me personally. It's a bit strange. But I guess the other thing that's strange as well with him and the whiskey, just to kind of as a final note, is that I personally don't think his brand is that congruent to whiskey in the first place. It was a weird thing to kind of jump out doing. It probably would have made more sense if he did an energy drink or just did nicotine pouches, like his particular brand, or maybe flavor or something of nicotine pouches, or his own, like I said, energy drink. That would have made more sense than going into whiskey personally. I don't think he drunk whiskey long enough or had enough of a palate to really sort of like push it. You know, personally, I don't think he had any of it, because I feel like Conor kind of makes sense because he's a bit of a party boy. You know, he gets on it. He's always out there drinking and shit. That makes a lot more sense. And even that, I feel like he's invented the persona of him being Mr. fucking stouts and whiskey over time. But I don't really look at Brendan and think party or alcohol, you know? Maybe alcoholic, but it's not very aspirational. So it's a strange thing to even launch first, in my personal opinion. Like, you know? Maybe I'm in the wrong here, but it makes no sense. Like, I feel like that guy, I feel like Mark Norman, exactly. Ron Wright is a good one. Mark Norman's a good one. Big up Josie. Who's the other guy? Yeah, Mark Norman, Stuck Stand Up, you said already there. Those guys would make more sense to have whiskey. You know, if Bert Kreischer came out of his own fucking, what's Tito's? Is Tito's whiskey? Is it rum? Because I don't think we have Tito's in the UK. What is Tito's? Is that whiskey or rum? I feel like Bert would do really good with that sort of shit. That's congruent to him, but I never really saw the vision long term of why he wanted the whiskey. It just felt like he wanted it to fucking, you know, it was just like one of those things that he did just to kind of appear like he was successful, personally. Okay, Tito's is vodka. Okay, cool. Tito's, I didn't know vodka. Cool. So maybe that's the case, but who knows? Maybe I'm mistaken. Let's see how that goes. But I'm pretty sure that whatever he's launching, it feels like a bit of a lie, but he could prove us all wrong, and it could be announced in the news that, you know, they're buying him out for fucking millions, which might explain the whole like running out of money thing, because he says CAA owes him money, right? His agents, but then maybe he's trying to generate some cash in the background by selling fucking THICCC. Maybe this is always a long-term plan. He went to fucking sell it to generate some income, get some cash. So maybe we might see it soon in the fucking newswire. We might see a press release of Brendan selling his brand for like 2 million or some shit. That might be wild if that happens, or even more. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Watch this space, I guess. Watch this space. Moving on from this, we have this fucking post is fucking awesome. It features Brendan getting a little bit of a mauling with his new haircut, which I don't really mind, to be fair, but they're calling him FIFA Sutherland for the haircut. I guess that was the name that what's his face, the comedian that he fucking copied the tortilla. Fuck, is it tortillas? What's that joke that he copied? He copied a joke from a comedian. The comedian made fun of him for copying it and called him FIFA Sutherland as a joke. And now everyone's using that name as to basically describe Brendan whenever he copies somebody. And somebody made this fucking post on on the Fire and the Kids subreddit. And this is legitimately hilarious. This post, right? You seen this? This is fucking awesome. That's it. Nick Swartzen. Sorry, that's it. Fajita joke. My bad. Crash. Thank you, Alex. Yeah, Nick Swartzen made the joke about fajitas. And then he then decided to, Brendan decided to like copy the joke, because he was inspired, parallel thinking type of thing. And then obviously everyone called him out on it. And now he's been learned, and now Nick Swartzen decided to call him FIFA Sutherland as a term to kind of describe his tendency to copy or to parrot. And this is a good little post because it shows the haircut inspiration that he's kind of got. This little Jan 6 trim that he's currently got at the moment. Let me get the books out of the way. But I wonder where this inspiration of this fucking haircut came from. Where do you think? This is a fucking funny post. Look at this. You got Brendan there. Then you got an image of Theo with the same trim. Then you got a picture of what's his face? Bobby Lee's brother, Stevie Weeby. Then you got a picture of Logan Paul here with the same trim. And then you got a picture, of course, of Brendan. So very late in the fucking process of it. Morgan Wallen's got to see that trim as well. But clearly he is trying to get involved in the whole fucking trendy little, Mohican mullet type of vibe thing going on at the moment. So big up Brendan for getting involved there. And obviously being late as per usual with it. And everyone kind of calling it out. I thought that was fucking funny as fuck. I'm not going to lie. Like FIFA Sutherland. Oh, but it's funny if you think about the early episodes of of King and the Sting. Brendan used to always take the piss out of Theo's haircut to the point where he was doing it like, I felt like to kind of, he just couldn't wrap his head around why anybody would have a mullet. And then of course many years down the line, to be cool and trendy, this now came back into vogue, and now Brendan's trying to copy it. Do you know what I mean? It's super funny how that sort of changed over the years. But yeah, big up Brendan Shaw for being late as per usual. Big up Brendan for being late as per usual. Moving on from that, we got this little post. I'm courtesy to find the kids subreddit. It says, Welp gets the pro baseball Chombi arc is done because Bappa wanted to agree with the guest. Yeah, this is also funny. This is something that Brendan tends to do quite often. He'll have a very strong opinion on one thing, and then a cooler guest will come on, or maybe somebody more successful, or maybe more rich, or maybe more famous will come on, and to appear cool or to appear down or to appear like he gets it, he'll immediately agree. But I don't even think he's agreeing. I actually think he's that much of a redact. He doesn't remember what he said yesterday, let alone what he said a couple episodes ago or position on another topic. He just, whatever he says in the day is what he says in the day, but it doesn't reflect his wider view on things. You have to just catch him on a day, and that's what his viewpoint is. There is no, long-term viewpoint. There is no principles. There is no morals. There is no things he stands on or stands behind. It just is what it is. So I feel like this kind of clip kind of speaks upon it. So let's just quickly play this here for you, and let's switch the screen. And let's play.
And how hard it is to be elite. You got all these kids, only about 100 of them gonna get past one level. Like literally, there's only 4 kids that could play the next level on my team right now, on my son's team.
And as far as college basketball,
Yeah, that's it.
yeah.
Only 4.
4. That's it.
Did you play any ball?
Yeah, I played in high school. I didn't play in college.
But think about it. And then
I can see it too, and everybody know it.
Yeah.
oh,
Oh, fuck's sake.
You're done.
Everyone knows
Your son's done. Your son's done. He's
That's
going.
it.
His son's going.
That's
it's
it.
like you see it. It's like
it's the elephant in the room.
You can
Like, the
see
parents
it,
know-
bro.
You can run drills and all that. Sorry.
bro. I don't give a fuck. You playing for fun, bro. Some of the kids quit because they just know they ain't good enough for that. Because it's you got to make a tremendous
I think that's
jump.
the problem, because now, like, my son's in this elite baseball, and all the parents talking about, oh, he's gonna play for the Dodgers and Padres. I'm like, you bitches out of your mind, man. How about they just have fun? I'll show you the blueprint.
Yeah.
Who knows where
They-
it goes?
they forget
They
to
put
have
so
fun.
much pressure. I'm like, no, just let them have fun, man.
You'll know,
because the chance
right?
of them
You'll
going,
know.
even at that age of 7, like my son, he's a baller. He's getting good. But then Matt Kemp's son is there. Oh, I tell him, I just put blockers on my son. Like, don't look over.
You
there.
don't even
Don't look-
look
no,
over
no, that's not for you. That kid's going places you're not going, right?
Yeah, the flip-floppy nature of Brendan Shaw will never cease to amaze me. Just the other week, he was talking about how he was going to put his complete summer on hold to teach his fucking kid how to, to play baseball, and he's going to invest everything in his future in that regard. And if he commits to it, the kid's like 7 years old or some shit. 10, is he 7 or 10? Really young. And he's basically telling him, hey, I'm basically canceling, no pressure on the kid at all, right? I'm canceling my whole entire European tour for you. Daddy's gonna stay at home and practice baseball with you, go on fucking runs and go to the gym so you can give yourself a chance to become pro. It's like, then suddenly Bill Bellamy gets on the fucking show and starts talking about how hard it is for kids to become good or to become pro at any sport, and says that you can usually see it really early on whether a kid's got it or not, and suddenly he, on the fucking dime, changes his opinion. I find that fucking ridiculously hilarious, man. But standard Brendan in that respect always kind of, goes with wherever the wind blows, especially if the person next to him is a bit more successful, rich or famous than him. Then he's definitely prone to disagree with his own self to agree with that guy, because, there's nothing more that a wannabe rich or wannabe super famous person wants than to agree with somebody that's super famous, because it makes you feel like you are doing something too. So whatever that is, so big up him. Next one we got here, we got this clip courtesy of the Final Kid Subreddit again. This is a recent interview that Brendan did with some random channel. I'm curious to why he agreed to do this show. It's called Chris, what's his name? Chris Van Vliet. I guess he feels like a startup-y kind of person. He reminds me a little bit of the whole like self-actualization scene. He kind of reminds me of like Tim Ferriss in some of the questions that he asks and the way he kind of carries himself. There's a lot of that kind of stuff going on there. So I'm surprised why Brendan would agree, because usually he's a little bit picky about the places that he goes on, even though he does sometimes appear on the pods that don't really get many views. But sometimes you'll go on his own show and say, oh, I don't go on. Oh, is it, the volume is low? Is it? Okay, cool. Damn. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Bear with me a second. People are saying the volume is low. Let me put the gain up a bit here. Bear with me a sec, my friends. I apologize for the fucking volume. Hopefully it's a bit lower now. Appreciate you. Thank you for the sweater compliments in the chat. I know some of it is a bit tongue-in-cheek, but I'm going to take it anyway. I don't get many compliments as it is, so I'm going to take anything. Any compliments I get, I'm going to take them, okay? Any. So whatever. I don't care if you guys are saying it tongue-in-cheek and you're fucking ripping me. I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it. So how's that? How's that volume? Is that all good? Can you hear me now? Is that all great? Am I not low? Please let me know. Please let me know if that's okay. If it isn't, I have to up it a little bit more. But I don't want to redline myself. That's why I don't want to redline myself. So, what are you guys saying in the chat? Let me know if the volume is okay as I continue speaking here. Body, boom. Sounds better. Cool. Big up everybody in the stream chat for confirming. So, like I was saying, Brendan was on this podcast called Chris Van Vliet, hanging out, doing their thing. I'm surprised he was on there, considering how often he does kind of, not want to go on shows, and does the whole Brogan thing where he says, oh, my shows are better, you should just come on mine. Why don't I go on some little fucking small show? So I was surprised he went on this show, to be fair. But it was pretty interesting because clearly the guy he's speaking to is a little bit more grounded and in touch with himself, and maybe has done a lot of self-work, a lot of self-inventory. He's maybe successful in his own little kind of lane and blah blah. And it's just funny the fucking, how different they are, the contrast in them when they're talking. So this clip is titled Papa's Inspiration for His Material, courtesy of the FATK sub. Let's put this on full and we can see what it says here. But this is a really interesting clip in terms of Brendan having to speak to somebody who is somewhat level-headed, right? Let's hear this.
It's his balance.
What's the process look like for finding new material and then like working on and going, okay, this is kind of working. Let's kind of work on it so it gets to here.
Yeah, I think a lot of it, because I do so many shows, is I'll mark certain things down where, I do 2 shows with other comedians. So if I like a hot take on like Hunter Biden I had the other day on how much fun it'd be to party.
Yo, big up Stingu.
You talk about BGL's lawsuit against Papa yet?
Oh yeah, not yet. That's coming though, Stingu. Thank you for the $2 super chat, my friend. But that's coming. Not yet, but that's coming.
With him, terrible human being, but one night get a party with one person.
I mean,
I'm picking Hunter Biden.
Yeah.
He's
doing the math.
Let's go back.
So if I like a hot take on like Hunter Biden I had the other day on how much fun it'd be to party with him. Terrible human being, but one night get a party with one person.
I mean,
I'm picking Hunter Biden.
Yeah.
He's doing the math. He's jumping a 911, driving 100 miles an hour down, and there's hookers everywhere. Like, this guy's a good time Charlie, right? Like, he's a fun time. I mean, for one night. I don't want to watch my kids. He's in pedophile shit. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking one night to go out and party and rage. Hunter Biden's my guy right now. So that was just a natural hot take. And Brian's laughing at it, who's a great comic. Chris D'Elia and Eric Griffin are laughing at it. I'm like, oh, there's something here. So I'll write that down. Then I'll work on it that night. And then I'll just bring it up on the road, see how that goes. And then it slowly starts to get legs, and you just add punchlines, add into it. And then in a year from now, that'll be a good.
Don't get me wrong. The premise isn't the worst premise I've heard in the world, especially from Brendan. I've heard worse jokes from him, but it just is so it's so basic, isn't it? Like, surely you could come up with something a bit better than that. just this throwaway line that you said in the podcast that your kind of co-host laughed at when you were talking about it isn't really the premise for a whole entire fucking comedy bit. I think so. There should be a little bit more meat to it. Maybe sit down and actually work on material a little bit longer than just little throwaway things. That might be actually part of the reason why there's such a lack of quality in stand-up comedy overall. Have you thought about it? Maybe I'm just thinking about it just now. Maybe because these guys generally do get their content from the shit that they say on the podcast, like the throwaway stuff they say. That's probably why it's all a bit terrible. Maybe part of it. Because I don't know, man. That's like, is that really worth sitting there and, you know, working on, you know, the genesis of that joke, some little throwaway thing that happened in the news a couple of weeks ago that everyone's kind of forgotten about, moved on with? Really? I don't know, you know? I don't know. It's a little bit meh for me personally. I'm not really into that. I think it's a bit shit. She's saying, yeah, Papa needs to save his hot takes for the sink. Somebody posted on the Fighter Kids subreddit. I saw someone posted I don't know if it's real. I hope it isn't. But someone on the Fighter Kids subreddit posted a sink that's got like a little cutout that looks like you could rest your piece on it to piss in it. I'm not too sure if that's real, if that's like a little troll illustration thing. I don't know why that would be necessary, but I guess there are some places in the world where you need to have like a sink that can double up as a fucking pisser, which is fucking gross. But I did see a little illustration of it, of this little sink that's got it's got a little kind of like half circle thing cut out on it along the edges, so you can kind of rest your piece and sort of piss in there comfortably if need be. It's like, gross as hell, not for me, but you know, I guess some people out there need that sort of shit. But what can you do? What can you do? But that's Brendan's inspiration for his jokes, as you can see there. Very odd, very bizarre, but we keep it moving. Next here we got this actually, which I need to actually pull up Brendan's Instagram. Let's see if I can pull it up on here. Bear with me a second. Bear with me one sec while I pull up the Instagram. So this Instagram is here. Let's see if it's over here. I'm gonna press the fuck. I think this is the one, right? Yeah, cool. So I'm gonna get the picture of the kid off the screen because I don't want the focus to be on the fucking child. But if we go over here back to my flipping illustrious tabs, there's one here as a clip from the Final Kiss subreddit where it says the title is Papa talks on his summer tour dates, right? So this has been a constant point of contention because most people who've got common sense can see that the likely reason why Brendan had to cancel his UK/Europe/Ireland whatever fucking tour where he was meant to be coming to Scotland, Northern Ireland, Republic of Ireland, Manchester, Liverpool, London, Wales, and all this malarkey, he had to cancel last minute. He should be on it right now, was because he didn't sell enough tickets. We know that to be the case, right? Most of the reason why comedians would ever sell tickets is because of ever cancel shows because of tickets. You know, these comedians don't even cancel shows if they have a wedding, if there's a funeral, if, you know, your wife's had a miscarriage. They don't leave the tour. Like, they don't fuck around with their money. When it comes to their money and tours, like, they always go. So if a comedian does cancel last minute, you know, more likely than not, the reason why they cancelled, is because they didn't sell enough tickets. So with that being said, we all kind of agree on that. But for some reason, this guy can't just admit why it didn't go well or just forget about it. You don't need to explain it to people really if you don't want to. But also, the lies just don't make any sense because we all know why you didn't. But the lies are weird. So the cope is interesting. So out of the blue, they got cancelled. Then he said he was going to reschedule them when fans online pressed him. There's a few actual genuine fans, it looked like, who actually bought tickets, who were looking forward to seeing him. And he said he was going to reschedule and re-announce dates, but he didn't. And then suddenly this whole new fucking storyline comes out of the blue where he says, oh, I'm teaching my kid to play baseball. That's why I'm cancelling my tour, which is fucking odd, right? Whatever. He wants his kid to become pro, and that's all. His kid wants to become pro, allegedly, you know, and now he wants to kind of help him out. That's why he's canceling the summer tour so he could dedicate his whole summer to helping his kid do fucking baseball. But now the narrative keeps fucking changes, as Brendan would say, and he's now offering up different reasons as to why that's the case, and it's all changing in kind of, you know, in real time. It's been really interesting to watch. So his person clipped this Coach of the Final Kid subreddit. It says Bappa talks on his summer tour dates. So let's flipping get the video up here in bold and clip it here and go from there. Why does it keep saying to me the flipping video encoder is overloading? Why is this the case? Maybe I have to lower down some settings here. Bear with me 1 second. But I've got no windows open, minimal tabs, and it keeps saying to me that the encoder needs to go down. Okay, I can't change the output there. The streaming shit, I can't do nothing down there. Maximum bit rate. Let me just maybe do it 1.5. Let's see if this works. 1.500. Let's see that. No, sorry, bit rate. Let's do 1.5 800 basically. Let's do that. Apply. Let's see if this fucking works. Cause this is weird how it keeps dropping frames all the time. It's bizarre. Okay, no, let's continue. So this is the clip here where he talks about it. Bear with me a second. There we go.
I'm an early bird anyways, but the only time it gets dicey is the road. When I leave on like a Thursday and I'm back on a Sunday, that's when it gets tough.
But you've got a lot of dates on the road. Like that's where you make your money.
Yeah.
You know, you're sharpening.
It's a fine balance.
You're honing your craft here, you know, the Comedy Store or wherever, and trying stuff out. But when you go on the road, that's where you're making money.
Correct. And my 7-year-old, he's starting to realize it, but he hates when I leave. And that's why I always work in the summer, even though unless you're like this massive name. Most comics take the summer off because you're competing with like fucking Katy Perry. Like it's a tough gig, dude. Or you're competing with like Post Malone or or Taylor Swift.
Yes,
the biggest names in the
tours,
world
yeah.
wait for the summer tour. Drake, he's on tour in the summer. So you don't want to compete with that stuff. So a lot of comics take the summer off. I always worked in the summer, always, except for this year. I had a big Europe tour. I was supposed to be gone for 2 weeks, but my wife with our third kid coming is sick as shit. I got to be around the house, so all right, reschedule it. First time in my life I went, reschedule it. Reschedule, like, man, you're supposed to make this much money. It's not worth it. Reschedule it. You know? So it's like this fine balance where it's okay to not capitalize on that money and sharing the experience with your kids. Like, it's all good, man. It's just balance.
What's the process look like for finding new material?
So I personally think that's a fucking lie. Because he's never ever shown this level of care and support for his family in every way, shape, or form. There was a period in time, I remember, I don't know what tour that was. That was when Chappelle and shit was around, when his wife allegedly had a miscarriage and he never went back home. He never even showed any kind of public support or anything. She was posting all her fucking ordeal on social media, probably oversharing, and I respect to give him a bit of credence. She probably was doing a bit too much, but she clearly was going through a traumatic time around the whole thing, and he just kind of kept it moving. You know what I mean? He didn't give a fuck at all when that happened. If anything, I remember the contrast was funny because the wife was like going through the miscarriage on her own, and then he was essentially just in the fucking hot tub with like Big J and Chappelle and a few other people. He didn't care. So this narrative that he's trying to spin now, where he's now Mr. Family Man and that's why he's cancelling the whole tour, is fucking bizarre. Especially when he mentioned it anyway, the whole thing about, the money thing, right? The end bit. That's the real telltale sign that he's lying. Somewhere around here. Let's see. Let's play that one more time.
But my wife with our third kid coming is sick as shit. I got to be around the house. So, all right, reschedule it. First time in my life I went, reschedule it. Reschedule, like, man, you're supposed to make this much money. It's not worth it. Reschedule it.
So the first time in my life, reschedule it. It's not worth it. Reschedule it. So it just doesn't make any sense. So now for the first time ever, because he's making it seem like he would always do this for his family, but it's the first time he's ever done it. Reschedule a show because he's supposedly going to be supporting these kids. But then he mentions his wife is sick as shit because they're having a third. So which is the reason? Is it you're staying because you want your kid to become a professional baseball player? Are you staying because your wife's having another kid? Like, to a normal person, that's all admirable. That's what I'm saying. Think about it this way. To a normal person, it's admirable if you decide to take some time off from work to focus on your family. Especially if your partner is, going through a bad pregnancy or a difficult pregnancy. Sorry, not bad. I'll take that back. But a difficult pregnancy, and you want to maybe spend some time with your kids because you're always on the road. It is quite admirable. A lot of comedians, I feel like, take a lot of pride in the fact that they're always on the road. They kind of take a lot of weird sort of pride that they don't get to see their kids grow up and shit. It's really strange. But I guess in their business, to be on the road and selling tickets and going on tour, it's a sign that you're actually successful. If you actually spend time at home looking after your kids, picking up to go to school, or taking them, dropping off at school, picking them up in the evenings, it actually means you don't have a lot going on. So maybe a lot of these guys tie a lot of their self-worth to, you know, how often they are outside of the home. So I understand it's very complex, I get it, but let's be honest, he wouldn't be in this position doing all this fucking semantics and, you know, bending over backwards trying to explain shit if he just sold tickets normally at everybody else. You know, that's the main issue at hand here. He doesn't sell enough tickets. He probably, you know, tried to prove to himself that he could and fucking, you know, book bigger places and all that shit, and it just didn't work out the way it's meant to work out. Simple as that, really. Just say that and keep it moving. But clearly he's keeping up this fucking weird lie. And it's gotten worse and worse because now it feels like he's legitimately built this lie on the back of his kids. And now the kids are part of the fucking lie. So this is an Instagram caption from a post Brendan put out 2 days ago with a picture of his son somewhere near a baseball field, it looks like. And the caption says as follows: "My entire summer is dedicated to this little dude. His dreams of making his local baseball team. Rescheduled all my comedy touring. Didn't cancel, so don't worry, lols. So I didn't miss one day of baseball camp. My little man finished his camp today. Today he went 5 for 5, came in second for MVP. Tryouts are in 3 weeks, let's go." So it went from him trying to make it to pro, to making it for his local baseball team, to playing for fun just a minute ago with Bill Bellamy. And now all of a sudden there's trials coming up in 3 days. Or 3 weeks, whatever it may be. Just a weird person. Very, very bizarre. Like, this has all been blown out of proportion and made this into a way bigger issue than what it was. If he just would have been honest and just said, hey, didn't sell enough tickets, wasn't financially viable. And because I'd imagine, you know, I don't really know if I buy into the UNIQ's point of view. UNIQ's has got this theory that Brendan is just booking these shows himself. So essentially he's going to his comedy clubs around the country and basically hiring them, and then whatever money he can make on tickets, he makes it, right? But there is no like them booking him sort of thing. He's just booking the venues, whatever, as comedy places to do stand-up. Cool. I don't really think that's the case. But if that is the case, you can understand why somebody wouldn't want to go on tour to the UK. If you didn't sell enough tickets, it probably is going to cost you more to fly out there and put yourself up, you know? That kind of, it makes sense. Like because those European tours, they're quite costly. So to make them worthwhile, you have to sell a lot of tickets or do a lot of shows to kind of cover your nut, because the transatlantic flights and the accommodation and the spending money is going to be crazy, especially if he decides to kind of fly over a photographer or a videographer and shit to do content. It's a lot of fucking expenditure. So it makes a lot of sense. But will he be honest about it? Of course not. Let's see the fucking comments here. Saying your son came in second for MVP of a 2-week children's league baseball camp might be the craziest lie you've ever told. Cancelled an entire tour because of his 8-year-old kid's 5-day long summer baseball camp. Exactly. So brutal. Haters are gonna hate, fathers are gonna father. You can always make more money. The time with kiddos is worth more money than the number in your bank account. Good for you, dude. If you believe what he says, of course. Another one says, running with Scissorhands says you're not rescheduling. Another person here says, couldn't sell European tour, huh? Another person here says, good on you, bro. Only thing we can get back is time with our kids, so they believe. Another person here says, that's what it's all about, man. Awesome post and best of luck to a little man. I've got a 7-year-old and I do whatever it takes to be there for them every moment I can, make those memories. Also, I don't understand. Maybe I'm just a bit weird and naive because I don't have kids. But this fucking social media dad of the year shit that he's doing, like, what this all about as well? Is that like a trend? Maybe you guys who have friends who have kids, or you have kids of your own, have seen this. What is this thing with people showing off how they're raising their kids on social all about? What is this? What is this? We're posting shit. What is this all about? Is this like a weird kind of way to reinvent yourself, to make sure people don't say nothing bad about you because you always got your kids in your lap and shit? Like, what is it? I find it so bizarre where you're kind of detailing every sort of, you know, ups and downs that you're having with your kid and this shit, especially with the glitzy stuff, because all the normal kiddie stuff is not being posted on here. It's all the cool, fun stuff. Like, it's a bit, yeah, exactly. It's dad virtue signaling, exactly, for Space Sky. Don't you find it a bit strange? Do you guys have friends who do this? like young dads and stuff who kind of raise their kids online and, oh my God, my little man did this, he did that, he did this. It's like, bruh, no one gives a fuck. This is part of the reason why I don't have a fucking Facebook. You know what I mean? It's just all your friends doing this sort of shit. Like everyone fucking raising their kids online and wanting praise for it, like for like having a kid that's still alive and looks fed and shit and doesn't look emancipated. It's like, congrats, your kid is still alive. Like, what do you want me to do? Anyway, continue. Another one says, enjoy every minute during these times. We just wrapped up. Okay, this person's chatting shit. Yeah, who saw this coming when the UK tour got cancelled? Good decision. Now this is a dad. Great job. Good luck to you. Another one says, I know the way to go. Best of luck for the tryouts. Sounds like he has the chance. Another one says, saying your son came in second. Okay, cool. Austin something says haters gonna hate. Okay, what is he deleting Fred's commenting? Why don't just have a repeat here? Now if I know a guy, if you want some cool action shots of your little guy on the field, that's strange, isn't it? Offering the services of a dude that take pictures of children. Bit bizarre. Bro, enjoy this time with him. Another one says that's awesome. Sounds like he's killing it. That's awesome. Best of luck to T. Look at these people that don't know his son calling him fucking T as well. Like fucking cringe. But yeah, some people in the chat or in the comments believe Brendan. Some people don't. Personally, I think it's all a big lie. An unnecessary lie, personally. I think if you didn't sell enough tickets to sell out a European tour when you're a, you know, not as well-known comic as some other people out there, it's not shame, really. It is what it is. It's hard to sell tickets, especially nowadays with the crunch and people's, you know, money isn't going as further as it probably did in the past. It makes sense why people might be able not be able to splurge out on a ticket to go and see you. It kind of is what it is. Maybe he kind of he overbooked, or he was a bit too ambitious and booked venues that he clearly has no business being in at this level. Just admit it and keep it moving. But hey, he doesn't like to do that. He wants to always kind of protect his image and make it seem like it's one thing. So I kind of guess it is what it fucking is. Moving on from that, what you guys saying in the chat? Now I barely know anyone that does use social media, says Alex. Another one says, Crashes, if you can't be a beast of a comedian, might as well be a beast of a dad. Typical single dad Facebook post, exactly, Goyla. Mega fashion. If you can't be a beast, that is so rude. If you can't be a beast of a comedian, might as well be a beast of a dad. Crash, that's so fucking rude. Anyway, Mega LOL, what are you guys saying? Yeah, dad virtue signaling. Oh, he's trying to hit a home run with a fire emoji on the story. They said how you're gonna go on there with your pisses. I bet Michigan took a booty pick in the field, calling it exactly. Oh man, yeah, the T thing about yeah, because I've seen the wife post a few things about it. Him say it as well. I guess it's a nickname. They're gonna force the kid to have a nickname, right? They're gonna force it. I guess, hey, it kind of is what it is. Let them force what they want to force. Another post here, coach to the final kid subreddit. It says parenting advice from Brain Dead. Let's see what the calling him Brain Dead is fucking hilarious. This is what I mean about the hate Brendan gets. I think the hate he gets is mostly due to how dumb he is and the fact that he's so dumb, but it doesn't make sense how successful he is because of how dumb he is. So I think people just can't get their heads wrapped around it, and that's why they fucking, you know, love dunking on him continuously, because it's the only thing that brings them some level of solace, because if not, they'd be screaming into a pillow why they had to go into college, they had to work part-time to fund their masters, and they're still struggling now, while this guy who legitimately maybe low double-digit IQ is on paper a multi-millionaire and lives a somewhat, you know, glitzy life in that respect. So I think that's the reason why he gets a lot of hate, Brendan. But let's play this clip anyway.
What if it's like even odds, just fucking disrespectful?
But with all the podcasts and the comedy, how do you balance this with having a family? 'Cause I'm right there. My daughter's 5 weeks old right now.
Oh, the first one?
Yeah.
Oh, you're in the thick of it, dude. 5
Sure
weeks,
are.
though, listen, everyone's going to tell you, like, dude, when that baby comes to this world, it's life-changing. No, it's not. For the mom, it is. But until that kid's, like, 3-4 months old, because right now it's a football with eyes, and it needs the mom so much, you're like this, like, caretaker to make sure everyone stays alive, and then you're working to bring food to the family. But there's like the connections with the mom the first few months, and then it just.
I love how Brendan's giving us these fucking, these brain busters, right? The connections with the mum more so than with the dad. All right, cool, brother. Thank you
for saying that.
Yeah. Oh, I was like, oh, I'm Jeffrey Dahmer. Like I feel nothing right now. Like it's cool, and it's like, oh shit, this is nuts to have a kid. But it's like, man, where's that connection when it tells you about? Oh, because they're full of shit.
Literally.
That's been this folklore for how many years? And then you get there like, oh man, this is weird.
There was a moment like last week where
I'm surprised he actually pronounced folklore pretty decently, considering it's Brendan, don't you think? He actually pronounced that quite well. Go back again.
Oh, I was like, oh, I'm Jeffrey Dahmer. Like I feel nothing right now. Like it's cool, and it's like, oh shit, this is nuts to have a kid. But it's like, man, where's that connection when it tells you about? Oh, because they're full of shit.
Literally.
That's been this folklore for how many years? And then you get there like, oh.
Fair play. Well done to him. It's still a bit, it's still a bit heavy tongued, but he pronounced folklore pretty well. Pretty well there.
Oh man, this is weird.
There was a moment like last week where she smiled at me for the first time, and I went, "Oh, that's the thing."
It's the little moments, yeah. But like when it first starts,
I had to check her diaper. I'm like, "Were you smiling because you just pooped yourself?"
Correct.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, you actually like me.
That was for real.
Yeah, and then it just gets better and better and better. Like I got my third's on the way in December. A baby girl. Yeah,
wow.
Nothing better. So as far as juggling like kids in the work, I'm lucky enough where it's my business, so I can control it. So they don't know like. I can drop them off at school every day because I can say, all right, we're doing the show at 9 or 10 a.m.
Yeah.
So I drop them off at school. Then I'll wrap the show around 2. My show's around 2 or 3. I can pick them up, drop them out. And then we come home, make them dinner, we swim or whatever, do our thing.
I love how he stops himself from saying, drop them off and hand them off to my wife or hand them off to my mother-in-law. He stopped himself from saying that because that's what actually happens. He may drop them off, he may pick them up from school, but he just hands them off and just goes on and does his job. You know what I mean? Like that his job is done. Off to the clubs I go. But he stopped himself there. Well done, Brendan. Well done.
And take them to baseball, and then they go to bed, and then I'm off to the Comedy Store, the Improv, or the Laugh Factory, and then when they wake up, I'm there. They don't know, so I'm able to set the schedule.
When do you sleep?
Yeah, I'm up at 4 or 5 every day.
I love the fucking lies. I fucking love it. I love the lies. Beast of a dad, innit? But Fingy is right, man. What's his face? Fingy is fucking right. Crash. Definitely, if you can't be a beast of a comedian, just be a beast of a dad. Just make up all this shit. Make it seem like you're a fucking Superman dad. Nothing phases you. You get it all done. You bust your ass. You love your woman. You drive your cars. And you crush it on the stage, fucking in your expensive trainers and shit. Fucking yeah, fucking metal. Big up Stinger Goo. Appreciate the super chat.
He loves Rogan more than his kids.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. I've said this before many a time on this pod, but I'm telling you this now. When the day comes, Rogan passes away. We're all gonna pass away. So touch wood. Not happening anytime soon, but we all will. But when the day comes that Rogan passes away, you're going to see Brendan cry in a way that you've never seen him cry. He's probably going to cry more when Rogan passes away than when his dad does, when his mum does, when his brother. Like, it'll be fucking. Maybe his brother will be the only one because he speaks quite well about his brother. But legitimately, he'll cry more about Rogan than any other member of his family, with the exception of his brother and his dad. Maybe. Honestly, just watch. It's going to be fucking crazy. It's gonna make I Can't Talk like, it's gonna make I Can't Talk seem like child's play. Just watch. Just you guys watch. He's gonna be, you know what I mean? Like fucking full fucking bogey. Like it's gonna be fucking crazy. He's gonna be turning different colors and shit. He's gonna be posting all these clips, text messages of Rogan. Like it's gonna be fucking wild. Just watch. They'll fucking dedicate an entire show. They might not fucking do a podcast for a week. Like watch. Watch. Just you guys watch. I swear down. Just you guys watch. Anyway, moving on. So we've got this clip here, courtesy of the final SUBRREDIT. It says, if Papa goes to Texas, it's Fort Worth, not Austin. That's why he wears why he wears different jerseys. This is going to be a barnstormer because these are two subjects that I fucking badly want to hear him talk about. So let's hear his explanation as to why he won't move to Austin. Personally, it feels like a bit of a cope because he's not with the cool kids anymore. He's now trying to not be with them. So he's saying, oh, like, it's not all great over there. I'm going to go somewhere else. It kind of feels like that. But again, I don't know Texas. So maybe this Fort Worth place is actually nicer than Austin. I don't really know. But it kind of feels like because he never got invited to perform at the Comedy Mothership and he never went out there when everybody went to fucking Austin, he's now trying to make it very clear that he wants to do his own thing kind of thing. And kind of, you know, I'm okay, I'm over it sort of thing. So let's play this clip anyway.
There's like a big, I feel like, imposter syndrome with a lot of things that are done in entertainment, but especially comedy. Because you're standing up there with a microphone in hand, basically going like, I am going to make you guys laugh. When was the first moment when you went, I feel like I belong here now?
Oh, I mean, I'll let you know when that happens. It's never happened for me. Never. I always feel like an imposter, always, especially my background, especially the way, you know, the comic scene in LA is broken up since the pandemic. All my friends left. It's like,
yeah, are you going to Texas too?
If I went to Texas, I'd go to like Texas. I'd go to like Fort Worth. Like if I'm going to make a change, I'm not going to go to Austin. That's more blue than
California,
LA.
Texas. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just now all my friends are there, and there's a reason.
It kind of sounds like a little bit of a diss, isn't it? Right? It kind of sounds like a little bit of a thinly veiled diss. I'm not going to go to Austin. I'm going to go to Fort Worth. I'm not sure going to go to Austin where it's just like another fucking Texas. I'm going to do my own thing. It kind of sounds like a diss. It sounds a little bit dissy. A little bit dissy-wissy for me personally. But again, maybe I'm reading too much into it.
Reason why I should probably go there. But Fort Worth is only, 2-hour drive away, a 20-minute plane ride. So that would make, if I go to Texas, I'm going Texas. I mean,
Dude, you could live
I'm
on
talking
like 50 acres.
Correct. I'm having a cowboy hat, tight ass jeans. Like I'm going Texas, man. Going super Texas.
No more.
So basically, I'm not doing LA, Texas. I'm doing, proper Texas to kind of differentiate myself and make it very known that I don't need you guys. Okay.
Baseball jerseys?
Oh no, but this can be a freaking Rangers jersey. You know what I'm saying? Like,
why is it an Orioles jersey?
Every city I go to, I always get the authentic jersey. So
I saw you wearing an Indians jersey.
I love the Indians jersey.
Don't you think that's bizarre though? Is that normal in America? Can some of our American viewers please tell me this, especially sports guys? I find it incredibly odd how he purchases every fucking jersey in existence. He's fucking bandwagon Schaub with a capital B. It's fucking crazy. Maybe all caps. His wardrobe of jerseys must be fucking insane. Every color, every fucking team, every franchise under the sun, he collects them. Especially if they're a team or whatever that's going through a very successful period. They maybe won a championship recently. Maybe one of their fucking players in the news. He just buys a jersey. It's like, who does this? Who buys a jersey from every fucking city they visit? It's really odd. Maybe a scarf or something cool, but like a jersey to wear and you rock it. Like, this is my team now. All the places you go. Because I don't know about you guys, but when you rock jerseys, especially in the UK, big up Sam Catchpole.
Appreciate you holding these comedians accountable. They've had a free pass for too long.
Big up Sam Catchpole. Yeah. We don't even hold them accountable. We just laugh, point and laugh, to be fair. It's never that serious to hold them accountable. It's just good to kind of have some banter about it because clearly these motherfuckers take themselves way too seriously. You have these guys saying, normal civilians, normal everyday people don't know how to take jokes, right? Right? They don't know jokes. They don't know what jokes mean. They don't know what jokes are. You can't laugh with them. They don't get it. So it's quite funny to point and laugh at them when they clearly are the ones who don't get it. Like, we're the ones in the majority. They're the minority out here. They're the ones who live like a somewhat Peter Pan-esque type of life. But then they also want to cosplay like they're the everyman. It's fucking bizarre. So I love to point and laugh at it. It's not really a holding me accountable thing. It's not that serious. I don't really give a fuck about these guys in the grand scheme of things. But I do appreciate your sentiment nonetheless, my friend. So big up you. Big up you. Moving on. Yeah, exactly. Red bar does exactly cracked nose. Red bar does crooked nose. Red bar does hold him more accountable than I do. He's definitely on the whole accountable thing. He doesn't fuck around, man. He's definitely making sure that he makes that fucking known. So big up them. System soundbar. Zinger paying your heating bill, or because you guys think I'm wearing the sweater because I'm not paying my heating, or because I guess it's hot everywhere, right? So I guess when I've got the sweater on, it looks weird. Is that why you're saying that? Because it's hot everywhere around the world, and I've got this massive fucking chunky wool number on, right? Okay, cool, I understand, but that's funny, man. Zinger paying heating bill. Oh, but yeah, big up you guys. I just see all these non-stop insults of my sweat in the chat, but I'm just ignoring it like I don't see it. I'm just doing the old I'm just doing the old Brendan. I'm doing the whole post and ghost. I don't see your insults. Post and ghost the insults. Oh my god, man. Anyway, let's continue.
Just because when I was a kid, I was always creative as a kid. I'd buy the Indians hat, and I'd make it different. I'd take the gold Sharpie and do one of the teeth gold. And people are like, I can't believe you wear that. Native Americans, I'm like, oh, fuck off, dude. You think Native Americans care, man?
Yeah, they do care. Native Americans actually do care. That's why they had to change the logo. Even I know this. Big up Crash. Big up you.
Brendan considers himself an athlete, and he'll wear whatever athletic apparel that matches his shoes. Great stream as usual, AZ.
Ah, that's actually a really good, interesting point you made there. I never thought about that. Maybe there is something partly to do with that, right? The fact that he thinks himself as an athlete, he also thinks himself as like a sports fan, but he's not really. So one way to kind of show that you're those people is to sort of have these things that you wear, these jerseys and shit. So maybe that's part of it. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're actually right. Again, apologies for the drop frames. It keeps fucking overloading here. My encoding is going crazy. I don't know why, because I've got everything down pat where it should be. For some reason, it's not having it. So if it's buffering a lot, then I do apologize for the fucking delay and shit and the buffering here. But hopefully you can hear my audio loud and clear. But let me just wait for the fucking frames to stop dropping and the encoder overloading to stop so that we can continue. But for some reason, it's just going a bit crazy right now. God damn it, man. It's annoying. But yeah, big up everybody in the stream. If you're watching this and you can hear the sound of my voice, please make sure that you smash the like button for me down below. That'd be greatly appreciated. You know, give the stream a little like, and that would be greatly appreciated if that's the case down below. Please make sure that you do that. Please make sure that you do that.
No.
So it's the least of other worries.
Every city you go to, you buy a jersey.
I buy a jersey. That's one of the first things I do. I buy a jersey. I love baseball jerseys. Now my son's really into baseball, so I'm even more into baseball. So
it's my thing that I do with my dad. We go to a different baseball stadium every year.
Oh, I love that.
Been to 24 of them.
What's your favorite?
Anyway, I find it odd. Personally, I'm just a weird guy, but I find it fucking bizarre that he buys a fucking baseball jersey in every fucking place he goes, or a jersey of every team that he didn't. It's bad enough buying the jersey, but then pretending you're a fan of the team. Like, come on, bro. Like, come on. How many teams do you support? How many teams do you follow? Allegedly, like, let's be real. Like, please. It's such a weird thing. I never got it, to be fair. But hey, what can you do? People are strange. People are strange. Moving on from that one, let's go some other ones I want to talk about here. Please bear with me. Bish bash bosh. Let's get rid of this. Let's quit that. Maybe this might help as well. Save and quit. And then we're going to move on to some next tabs here. Bear with me a second as I get those up. So this other thing. Oh yeah, let's talk about actually the piercing resistance we talk about. So Luke Thomas got on his pod and decided to answer back and clap back to fucking what's his face, Jesse on Fire. So let's actually play that. I didn't actually update you guys on what happened there. I made the video on Jesse on Fire, but Luke Thomas did reply back to him with his version of a clapback, which a lot of people in the sub have been going goo goo gaga over. I don't particularly think it was that impressive, the clips I've basically seen, but I did clip the entire thing in full. It's like a bit of a 6-minute rant, and we're going to just watch it together, and then I'm going to give you my impression of what I think along the way. But, you know, spoiler alert, I didn't think it was that good of a clapback, and I think it was a little bit misplaced, some of his rage. But hey, let's see the clip anyway, and you can maybe disagree with what my point of view is on here.
What are your thoughts? Okay, good question. I guess we have to get to this now. What are your thoughts on Jesse on Fire's video on you? Also, any advice for a guy going into college? I don't know what the advice for college would be. You don't have to have everything figured out in college. How about that? You don't have to have everything figured out in college. I thought, yeah, you had to have all the answers, and you're 18. You don't know anything. You don't need to know anything. Try to experience everything you can and try to learn about the world as best you can. And don't worry about like, oh, what's my major going to be? Figure something out. Do your best. It really will not, it is not such an important question that you have to kind of like have life anxiety over it. All right. As it pertains to the other one, it's like, dude.
Yo, big up Hayun Chul as
Finally caught you live. You've replaced JRE for me for the podcast. I look forward to listen in the background. Appreciate all of the content.
Hell yeah. Lovely compliment. Thank you for that, my friend. Appreciate you. Thank you, Hayun Chul Alsop. Honestly, appreciate you. That's the biggest compliment you could ever pay me. I do aim to be the #1 background listen to podcast live stream in the world. So if I get that kind of impression from you, or if I give you that sort of feeling, then I'm very, very grateful for it. So big up you. Thank you for the super chat, my friend. I appreciate you. Appreciate you. Appreciate you.
Dude, I don't even know what to say about shit like this. Let me just say this. There are a few of these guys of this type where, first of all, they have titles. They don't use their real names. I can think of 3 of them, but there's some other ones as well. You know, and then, of course, some of the largest creators do that as well. But I just what I mean, like they're up front telling you that they're not interested in being sort of seen as serious people. But the bigger point is this: it's like there's a certain like version of just internet loser that appears to be very concerned with what I have to say about things in ways that surprises me. And I need them to understand something. And I'm honestly not even trying to be mean. I don't care about you. Any of you. Like, they care deeply what I.
Am I lagging? People saying I'm lagging. Okay, let's do it again one more time. I think the people are saying I'm lagging. I don't know why this fucking computer is lagging so bad. Maybe I need to fucking downgrade the fucking whatchamacallit. Bear with me a second. People say I'm lagging here. Bear with me. So let's do it one more time. Let's do it one more time. I think people say I'm lagging here. Let's go one more time. One more time. One more time. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it one more time. Some people say I'm lagging. Let's just maybe take down the bit. It's on 360 already. How many more does it need to go down before it stops lagging? Okay, let's do it 144. Please, come on, please.
Would not worry if I were you. There you go. What are your thoughts? Okay, good question. I guess we have to get to this now. What are your thoughts on Jesse on Fire's video on you? Also, any advice for a guy going into college? I don't know what the advice for college would be. You don't have to have everything figured out in college. How about that? You don't have to have everything figured out in college. I thought, yeah, you had to have all the answers, and you're 18. You don't know anything. You don't need to know anything. Try to experience everything you can and try to learn about the world as best you can. And don't worry about like, oh, what's my major going to be? Figure
Big up Sting Agoo.
$2 for that Wi-Fi bill.
Thank you.
something out. Do your best. It really will not. It is not such an important question that you have to kind of like have life anxiety over it. All right. As it pertains to the other one, it's like, dude, I don't even know what to say about shit like this. Let me just say this. There are a few of these guys of this type where, first of all, they have titles. They don't use their real names. I can think of 3 of them, but there's some other ones as well. You know, and of course, some of the largest creators do that as well. But I just,
who's he talking about the other guys? Obviously, he's talking about Jesse on Fire. Does he mean the guy that I like? Who's the English guy? MMA Guru. Is he talking about him as well? If you guys in the chat know, who are more plugged in than me, is he talking about MMA Guru, or is he just talking about Jesse on Fire? Who's the other guys that he's mentioning who use names like that? Like who's he talking about? He's talking about Guru. Okay, cool. So MMA Guru, Jesse on Fire, and Red Bar. You think he's talking about Red Bar? Huh. What's Red Bar said about him? Okay. MMA Guru I get, because MMA Guru, I think he beefs with everybody. He beefs with Ariel, he's beefing with probably him. And I get why Guru wouldn't like Luke Thomas. I get it, you know. I get the whole attitude like clash, how they kind of come across. Even Ariel too, right? I get it too. Even though I love Ariel, I think I can see why they all wouldn't like each other. But yeah, that's interesting.
Sort of mean like they're up front telling you that they're not interested in being sort of seen as serious people. But the bigger point is this: it's like there's a certain like version of just internet loser that appears to be very concerned with what I have to say about things.
Raw, my guy MMA Guru is 24 years old. Bodybuilding News, is that true? Shit, bro. He's an experienced 24-year-old, isn't it? He doesn't look like it as well. He looks like he's in his 30s. I love the guy and shit, but fucking hell, mate. Bloody hell.
In ways that surprises me. And I need them to understand something. And I'm honestly not even trying to be mean. I don't care about you. Any of you. Like, they care deeply what I have to say. I don't care about anything you say. I don't care about your opinions on anything. I don't care about content you make. I don't care what you have. Like, they use my content. I'm not going to put down copyright strikes on them. I don't give a fuck.
I don't get this whole I don't care thing. You can't say you don't care when you take out 6 minutes of your stream to basically reply to the question. If you didn't really care, you would have just seen the question about Jesse on Fire and the college thing, answered the college thing, said no comment on Jesse thing, and just kept it moving. Said, look, I wish those guys all the best. We disagreed. We have to agree to disagree, and just kept it moving. If you do care, this is why you make this sort of rant, to be fair. To be honest. You do kind of care. Let's be fair. And also saying you're not going to copyright strike somebody's content isn't something to kind of give yourself a pat on the back of, really. You shouldn't do it in general. It's definitely a bit of a faux pas in this whole content creation game thing that we got going on. But if you don't do it, it shouldn't be, oh, I don't copyright strike people, so you should give me a round of applause. You know what I mean? That's a bit insane, Luke. I love you, Luke, but you know what I mean? You're smelling your own farts a bit. That's a bit wild. But hey, let's continue.
I don't, in any part of my day, ever think it's a useful version of my time to hear anything that they have to say, literally about anything, including and especially me. Like, why would I, dude? A bare minimum of investing.
Brandon said it's a paid question. He always answers everything. No, that's fair. It's a paid question. I get it. But if he didn't care, he could easily say, hey, thank you for the paid question, whatever, the super chat. The Jesse on Fire thing, I really don't want to get into that stuff. I don't want to be involved in any more drama. So I'm just going to respectively refuse to comment. Big up James Banks, sorry.
He was super chatted. He's trying to give his paying fans a good answer.
No problem. I get it. But if you don't care, I'm just saying, he says the word caring. You're allowed to answer the question by also not answering the question. If you don't care, I'm just arguing against not caring and then speaking about it for 6 minutes. That's my only contention. I'm not disagreeing with Luke. I like the guy, but you can't say you don't care and then you spend 6 minutes answering the question. It kind of goes against not caring sort of thing. It's just bizarre when people do that thing. It doesn't even bother me. I'm not even caring. It's like if you don't care, you either ignore it or you respectfully decide to not kind of engage with it and sort of just keep it moving. Only my opinion.
Investigation into what, he's not alone, there's other ones like him, but a bare minimum of investigation into them. These are people, they are loud for the sake of being loud. They are not interesting, they're not bright, they're not well read. There's nothing interesting about them. Why?
This is the best insult, actually, I think he made about these guys, right? They're loud for being for the sake of loud. They're not interesting. They're not well read. This is pretty brutal. I'm not going to lie. It's a pretty brutal dressing down, but I just argue about the not caring part of it that I don't really think it makes a lot of sense, to be fair.
Why the fuck would I care? Dude, say what the fuck you want to say. I don't give a shit. I don't care at all. You never see me bring them up. I don't give a shit. This dude, Jesse on Fire, he follows me on Twitter. I don't follow him. He hit me up about a year ago to collab on a video. I didn't hit him up. Right?
Of course he would, though. This is a strange point a little bit also. Of course he'd hit you up. You're the established journalist. You're the established media figure. You're well known in the industry. You and Ariel are basically the kind of the gold standard when it comes to MMA, you know, combat sports journalism and shit. It makes sense why they'd reach out to you, wanting to kind of have you be their mentor or do some work collab. That isn't, I don't know, it feels like a weird thing to kind of brag about, you know? Those guys are smaller creators. Clearly, they should be reaching out to you. If they're not reaching out to you in some regards, maybe they're not doing what they're doing right.
I don't care about you. I don't care. You utterly meaningless in my life and in useful ways in which I want to spend my time. And of course, everyone's trying to do this bit where it's like, and this will get used too, like, oh, you care, you're doing this thing. I care in enough to answer this question. Okay. And then I don't want to talk about it anymore because I don't give a fuck.
Come on.
I don't give a fuck about any of you guys. Zip. That you can't even use you don't even use your names. You give you guys there's chat board screen names. What are you, fucking 40? Like, what are you doing?
That's a bit lame also, because some people don't want to use their fucking real names on social media. That isn't something to kind of use as a point of that isn't something that you could kind of use against them as an insult. It's a strange thing because some people nowadays, the space in social media where you can basically exist being anonymous. Like the guy that I like, who does MMA fucking journalism. Who's the dude that does really good breakdowns? I forgot his fucking name, and his logo is like a feather. What's his fucking name? Most of you guys who watch UFC know what I'm talking about. That guy's really good. No one knows what he looks like and shit. I don't really, you know what I mean? He just does stuff with just his voice and shit. Now you can do that nowadays, right? You're allowed to be private if you want to be. The fact that Luke had to kind of step out and be Luke Thomas and work a corporate job and do that sort of stuff is a little bit, you know, that's his own thing. Same with me. I use my real name, but if you don't want to use your real name, that shouldn't be something to kind of knock you down for, in my personal opinion. I said Jack Slack. That's the one. Jack Slack is fucking awesome. So just because you use a pseudonym for yourself, that isn't a bad thing, personally speaking.
Okay. I don't give a fuck about you. I don't give a fuck about your channels. I don't give a fuck about your opinions. They're profoundly stupid and not worth my time. Actually, you know what's funny? The joke is really, it's on me, but it's on them and they don't even realize it. Like, it's on me. Here's what I mean. Like, here's how getting back to the conversation about like, I've reached certain things, but I'm not where I want to be. Here's how you know I have underachieved. Look at the level of my antagonist.
This is a good point.
Just the most pathetic version you've ever seen. Like, that is the person that thinks that like we're peers enough to have these like what the fuck? Like, nothing is like the saddest shit. The biggest critique you could make of my career is that these kinds of people are the people who think that they're my antagonist. Like, oh my.
But to be fair to these guys, right? Most people in the MMA space who don't rate Luke, who don't think he's good, or think he's shit, or think he's overrated, or think he's obnoxious, or think he's self-absorbed, or think he's annoying, whatever they think about him, they probably aren't in a position to say what Jesse on Fire and MMA Guru can say because they kind of work for corporations. They're not doing shit on their own. So they can't really be they can't fly off the seat of their pants kind of thing, you know what I mean? They can't just like say shit. So it's probably makes a lot of sense why those guys go after him because number one, they're smaller. They're trying to, aim for the guy at the top. And also they're free. They're not, they're not flipping locked in by anybody else. I can kind of tell them what to say and what not to say. So the fact that they're saying what they're saying about you is okay for what it is because they got their criticisms of you, even if it's not said in the nicest way. I don't really see it being that big of an issue. It's not really like, oh, look at my level of opponents, this is a disgrace, these guys are ridiculous. It's like, but who else would be going after you though? You know, like who else would be? No one else who's actually trying to make a career in this space would, because it would be like, you know, maybe upsetting the apple cart and maybe kind of burning bridges for no sake of it. So it makes a lot of sense why they're doing it. I don't know. Again, maybe I'm just looking at it from the wrong point of view. I'm not really locked into all this stuff when it comes to the beef within the MMA world anyway, with the journalists and the talking heads. I don't really know what underlying stuff have been said. Maybe MMA Guru and Jesse on Fire said some shit before about Luke that's like way overboard, and now it's never gonna, you know, ever gonna go back to normal. I don't really know. But from what I'm just reading and what he's saying so far, I don't know. It seems a little bit sus.
Fucking God. Do you know what like an underachiever you have to be for that to be the situation? At least I'm honest about it with you, right? Like I'm telling you the truth. Like I get that. Like that is my fucking antagonist. Like when Chael made a video about me, I responded to Chael, right? That's a worthy adversary. Like what these fucks? Like you just got to be kidding me, bro. You just got to be kidding me. I cannot believe these fucking mongrels think that we are peers. Like, oh my God. Oh my God. So I don't give a fuck. Say what you want to say, dude. It doesn't change anything.
I don't know. Calling people that you don't care about mongrels kind of means you care.
About my life. None of it is interesting. Like it's proximity to the truth. Here's how confident I am, and I'll end on this one. I encourage anyone in my audience to please go hear what they have to say, and this gentleman and some other ones as well. And if in the end, like that content is better for you, I encourage you to go. I encourage you. We don't have the same audience. Like there's no doubt in my mind, like the kind of audience that I want would, like, they're not interested in.
My audience is better than your audience. Like, this is some fucking baby shit. These are all grown men with kids, gray hairs, mortgages, bills, family to look after, you know, wife on the phone blowing you up, complaining, kids needing this. Like, these are grown men with grown men problems, and here they are comparing each other's audiences. My audience is better than your audience. My dad can beat up your dad. Like, this is pathetic, bro. I'm not gonna lie. This is kind of pathetic.
Antagonists of this level. Oh my God, dude. It's so fucking embarrassing that I have to be like, these are the people coming after you. Oh my God, dude. People that look like they've been tasered on the side of the highway in North Florida. Another one who looks like a skin tag that someone fucking super glued pubic hair to. I mean,
okay, he's definitely talking about MMA Guru. That's a fucking brilliant insult, isn't it? Jesse on Fire looks like somebody. Honestly, let's go back to that. That is a fucking brilliantly. That's why he's a good journalist, right? He's definitely got away with words. That is a fucking incredibly descriptive way to describe someone like a Jesse on Fire. I called him evil Uriah Faber, but I don't even think that does him justice, because Uriah Faber is such a nice human being, you know? He emits such positivity and such a dime piece, such a legend, Hall of Famer. It doesn't really make sense to compare Jesse on Fire with Uriah Faber in any way, shape or form, even if you're calling him evil Uriah. But Luke Thomas's insult was way better than mine. That was brilliant.
oh my God, dude. It's so fucking embarrassing that I have to be like, these are the people coming after you. Oh my God, dude. People that look like they've been tasered on the side of the highway in North Florida. Another one who looks like a skin tag that someone fucking super glued pubic hair to. I mean, we are just talking about fucking garbage pail kids coming after you with loud opinions, utterly centered on nothing. Like, what do I think about it? I don't.
So big up, honestly, Luke Thomas for that. That was brilliant. I think calling MMA Guru, my guy, that insult about, what is it, like Velcro something about the thing, that's hilarious. Especially with that beanie and the way his beard looks and shit, you know. We all know it's a bit hilarious, so big up him. I think he'll take that in good jest. My only issue with this insult, or with this fucking rant from from Luke Thomas, where he's trying to basically paint it out like he doesn't care. My only fucking pushback of it would be this. If you remember that rant that Jesse on Fire went on, he did specifically say he was only going after Brian Campbell. He did say some somewhat nice things about Luke. He's always defending him. He's always not really getting involved and pushing back sort of thing. He did really direct most of his ire, most of his, I'll fucking stick my dick in your face. I'll fucking make you fuck my mouth or something, whatever that Jason Fire was saying, right? He really was directing most of his rage at BC. He really wasn't going at Luke. So the fact that Luke decided to fly out the window and go on this fucking I'm better than you thing, I went to college, you didn't go to college thing, this kind of, you know, whatever thing that he went on this rant, it was a little bit, what's the thing called? A little bit out of place. I mean, it didn't really match, you know, the energy that Thingy was giving out, because he didn't go after him. Jesse on Fire went after BC, but Luke took it super personally, and now he's like, you know, in this weird sort of zone where he's basically saying his friends are better than his friends, all this stuff. It's just strange. I don't know. Okay, what did he say? Teju said he did talk about Luke for 20 minutes. Okay, what did he say about Luke for 20 minutes then? From the clip that I saw, it felt like he was going more at BC than Luke. So maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know. I found some bits in it interesting. I just think the whole premise of not caring and then going on a rant for 6 minutes, calling them mongrels, saying your fans are better, saying they're not educated and not well read, they're basically dummies, saying they're double-digit IQ, you're triple-digit, maybe 4-digit IQ, quadruple or quad-digit IQ person. I think all that is fucking weird, personally. And all these men being grown men with kids and families, doing what they're doing is fucking bizarre to say the least. And, you know, they probably all deserve each other, to be fair. They all probably deserve each other. And I don't know. I honestly don't give a fuck to know the details of their beef, to be honest. I'm just reacting about the things that they're reacting about. But then to kind of cover and to kind of go on the back of it, I guess the next day, like a good rage-filled monster that Luke Thomas is, I think the next day he did regret going on that rant, because when BC did try and bring it up and try and gist a bit and do a bit of skits and bits, Luke shut it down. And usually he doesn't shut stuff down when BC goes on these little skits and bits. He lets Luke basically do his thing. No, he lets BC do his thing, sorry. So the fact that Luke shut this down is proof to me that he kind of regretted the rant he went on, to be fair. He kind of regretted the rant. So this is them the day after the rant, the day after Luke Thomas's clapback, right? Let's hear them. Big up to find the kid subreddit also, guys, for clipping this.
There was some explosions on the Reddit sphere, Luke. Nuke Thomas apparently arrived and said,
"Can we just not talk about this bullshit, please?"
It got very methy yesterday, Luke, and it was, you know, you were just like Rambo, but you know, there you go, Luke. Maybe we'll just move on with our lives, all right?
Let's just move on with our lives.
Yeah, thank you.
It got very methy. Nuke Thomas, I love it. Calling him Nuke Thomas is fucking hilarious. It got very methy, but yeah, he clearly regretted it. I think after the fact, I think Luke definitely regretted it, because essentially, when you don't care about these guys who you think are lower than you, and you think you're better than them, they're gonna turn this into an entire, you know, beef, because it's good for content, it's good for the views. It's going to do exactly what they want it to do. So if you actually wanted to stop this from being a back and forth, you probably should have just ignored it. So the fact that he fed into it and clapped back, now, you know, MMA Guru and Jesse on Fire are never going to shut up about Luke Thomas. Never, ever, ever. And I don't blame them. That's the game, innit? That's the content game. It kind of is what it is. You fed into it, and now you're going to have a non-stop fucking back and forth with these guys. It's never, ever going to stop. It's never going to end. So RIP to Nuke Thomas's mentions. They're going to get a bit methy. He's going to get a bit pissed. And it kind of is what it fucking is, really, in that respect. You can't really do much about it. I'm sorry about that, sir. Moving on from that, we've got this post to talk about, which is courtesy of the Friday Kid subreddit. Oh, no, the Crystalia subreddit, actually. Somebody posted this. This is pretty crazy, right? So, somebody via the Crystalia subreddit posted this. Look at this. This is fucking nuts. Baby, sorry. The tricky thing about getting older is that you lose touch with the nuances of social media and forget that the IG follows are now shown in chronological order. He's back on his BS. Go take a peek. And a peek, sorry. Another person here posted here an update and said sorry, let me scroll down, sorry. It said, I took a screenshot yesterday, but I wasn't sure if it was okay to post since it shows the girls' usernames. But since everybody already listed them, I guess it's no issue. He has since followed some of other fitness girl, but this is in order recently followed. I've been keeping an eye on it for about a week. I understand there's some weird stalkerish shit, but I guess it's easy to turn a blind eye, root for somebody till it hits close to home. Not saying it's a criminal or anything, it's just a bit sketchy and the hypocrisy is next level. It's also nice to be able to see a comedian without worrying about him trying to bang other little sisters and shit, right? Cool. So basically the premise is on the Crystalia subreddit, there's still a community of people on there who are fans of Chris. They're kind of rooting for him and hoping he's going to change. They've noticed on Crystalia subreddit that on his Instagram, if you go on his followers or who he follows, the numbers have been kind of increasing over time. And they've also noticed, because I guess Instagram, on your own profile, if you want to check, you can basically check your followed based on when you added them, whether latest or oldest. And I guess if you just look at someone's profile, you can also do that. So they figured out a way to do it, and they were able to see that he was following some random accounts that he shouldn't be following. If he's meant to be this married, family man who's now a recovered sex addict, who's in therapy every day, as fucking Brennan would say. And if you look at these screen grabs, courtesy of fucking imagery, you'd see the number of Crystalia's Instagram. You see here the following is 1,518, but then the update says 1,516. So clearly he stopped following some people. He unfollowed a couple here and there. But if you scroll down here, you'll see that some of the profiles are random, like the girls' accounts that have like 300 followers and shit, right? They're not people that he should be following for any reason outside of being a bit of a creep, basically, right? These accounts, they're not, I think a couple of them, I think these ones being a good ones, this one maybe here, and maybe this one, and maybe that. And then when you go in here, you also see the same person highlighted that everyone else kind of mentioned here. These are people that you probably shouldn't follow. So clearly the premise here is that Chris has never stopped doing the things that he was accused of in the documentary, whether it comes to him basically, every time a cute looking girl would like a picture of his or comment on some of his content, he would immediately jump into the DMs and start getting creepy and shit and waiting to fly them out so they can suck his pee-pee and do whatever else may be. And despite all the fucking trouble that stuff has brought him, despite it basically ruining his fucking Hollywood aspirations, putting his career on fucking pause for like 2 years, it felt like, maybe nearly destroying his family, destroying his image amongst his friends and his peers, he's clearly still doing the same shit. He's never ever stopped. That's the wild part about it. He's never stopped doing this shit. And, it kind of is what it is. And I guess the Crystalia fan base over there on the Crystalia subreddit are slowly coming around to the idea that he's never going to get better because, he's basically a monster. It kind of just is what it is. And you just have to accept him the way he is because he's always going to diddle. He's never not diddling. That's basically his MO. Big up Sting Agu.
It's gross how Diddler plays the victim.
Exactly. He plays the victim. He tries to make it seem like it's everyone else's issue. He cries about it. Then he gets on stage on his crowdwork special and starts mocking the fucking protesters outside who were basically protesting the fact that he was able to perform at that club. But then when this gets leaked, he's probably going to start crying victim again on his podcast. But this is clear evidence that Crystalia is back up to his naughty behaviors and clearly hasn't learned a single thing from the cancellation he went through and all the troubles he's faced. What can you do? What can you do? What can you do? Next, moving on, we got this courtesy of, what is this? Yeah, this is courtesy of, my bad, the Final Kiss subreddit. This has been a pin post, actually. This has kind of blown up over time. It's got over 1,000 fucking upvotes, so clearly everybody's kind of feeling this. This is courtesy of the Final Kiss sub. It said, BGL wasn't lying about those California investigations. Look for Thick Boy. Thick Boy has some issues. So this is taken, I guess, from the California side of things in terms of, finding out lawsuits and maybe disputes in terms of work employment stuff. And if you scan here, you can see because BGL mentioned in the comment that there's 3 separate lawsuits or 3 different claims out at the moment, and they're all to do with the work that BGL did, right? You've got THICCC, so he said he helped out with THICCC doing captions, running the fucking Instagram. You've got ThickBoy Productions, which would you imagine encompasses all the shows they do on there, from Fighting the Kid to Food Truck Diaries to maybe his show and whatever else. And then you got ThickBoy Studios, which is probably him maybe doing some stuff in the studio, maybe some front of house stuff. I'm not really too sure, but clearly there's 3 different claims here for different parts of it. The funny part about it for me is the fact that Brendan has registered an LLC, with ThickBoy. That's the funny thing about me, that there's legitimately an LLC out there with the fucking term ThickBoy written in it, which is fucking crazy. If you scroll down a little bit, you'll see here different categories are in: distilleries, arts, entertainment, recreation. You'll see who it's listed on, and you see the status at the moment is currently under investigations. So clearly this is a big issue, and this may again explain part of the reason why the UK tour was cancelled. If you got this stuff happening and you might have to pay and sell out of court and shit, you don't want to be wasting money going to London. And this also maybe explained the whole story that Unique's posted and blew up about BGL saying that Brendan is owed some money by CAA and stuff. So that might also explain why we've not seen as many Food Truck Diaries, we've not seen as many Fight Companions, because he maybe doesn't have the funds to pay external people to come in and host these shows and shit. So maybe we're in the last stretch of this fucking Brendan Schaub arc. I don't really think so. I think personally the guy is clearly got money, clearly comes from some level of money, which has basically afforded him the ability to live the lifestyle of a retired, Hall of Famer NFL player or something, even though he's a very average stand-up comedian, maybe below average, and maybe average podcaster. It doesn't make any sense why he lives a life where he's driving Ferraris and Lamborghini trucks and lives in mansions. It's just unnecessary, really. Obviously, most of it's to do with keeping an image up or whatever it may be, but it does kind of make me think, without carrying people's pockets, that there's maybe a bit of fugaziness going on there. So maybe if you don't have the incomes coming in to cover all that shit, even if you're leasing it, I remember someone mentioned in the chat that to lease a Lamborghini truck was like $2,000 or something, but that's still $2,000. It's not fucking $100. You still have to generate a lot of money to kind of cover that nut. And I think, I don't know how leasing cars work, if it's the same as leasing a phone, but at some places, is it a rolling months contract? It's something that you sign for a long time, over 6 months, wherever it is. There's a lot of outgoings. Brendan's outgoings are probably crazy. Like, if you think about it, just top of your head, the guy's got 2 kids, or 1 kid that's in private school. He's got a wife at home that only is a stay-at-home mum, basically. He's obviously looking after her, paying the mortgage on her mansion, whatever bills that come from that house, the car notes, the gas. Like, it's a lot of expenditure coming out of his account. If you include the fucking salaries and shit, the stuff he has to pay for, the stuff he's paying fucking Chin for, the other guys that work there, there's a lot of outgoings for ThickBoy. So, you need to generate a lot of money to keep that shit going. So it wouldn't surprise me if a lot of reasons why we're seeing some little road bumps along the road here with Brendan and his company might have to do with the fact that this stuff is happening in real time. The funny thing is, most likely Brendan, what will happen to him, much like the Unique's thing, he sues Unique for an issue that he feels like he was, justified to doing so. Then he ends up losing the fucking case, and most likely he's gonna have to pay him money. So, fucking all for nothing, ruin reputation, do it. But I honestly think in this case, I think, what did BGL say? BGL said he was owed like 16K or something, right? Most likely, imagine if this happens and he ends up having to pay BGL more than 16K because he was too tight, too proud, too angry or whatever to pay the 16 grand. So, he's gonna end up fucking himself over. If you just would have paid the 16,000 when it was meant to be paid, he would have been all okay. You could have swept under the rug. But now he's got a disgruntled ex-employee in BGL who legitimately hates him. Like, BGL maybe hates him more than some people in that fucking subreddit, right? He legitimately hates him because I think the subreddit guys just discussed the podcast. But BGL really fucking does not like Brendan. So he's gonna he's going to really see this through. I think so. He's going to go into the ends of the earth to get his money or to bring as much attention to Brendan, bad attention. So he's basically forced and shamed into giving him the peas. So this is a bit crazy, to be fair. Very, very crazy. And in my opinion, is further proof that, you know, the business has never been correct back there, man. Never been correct. He did the whole thick boy thing to sort of like stick it to fucking Showtime and prove he could do it on his own and bet on himself. And it's been an unmitigating failure, really. I don't necessarily see even why he did it. Get let go from Showtime. My fucking thing that I would have done as soon as that, because I feel like that Showtime check paid for a lot of things over there. You probably would never say so, but I think the Showtime monthly check that they got probably paid for people's salaries. It paid for fucking equipment. It paid for rent and shit. If that was me and I lost that chunk of a guaranteed income and maybe some built-in sponsors, I would just fucking streamline. I'd just focus in on doing the fucking, the Fire and the Kid, maybe doing some, live stream Fight Companions here and there on my own, like solo, because I think he could do that. I think Brendan, I know he's a redact, but I think he could do a fucking watch-along UFC fight card. Obviously, it would help if he could read the chat, but he doesn't because he's afraid of fucking comments and shit. But if you could just sit there and have the chat on screen and just fucking do a UFC watch-along, I think he could do pretty well with them on his own, just doing so. Drinking whiskey, getting fucked up, and just chatting shit. He could actually make that work, but he doesn't. So, if that was me and I got fired from Showtime, I would just focus on the Fire and the Kid, and that's it. I wouldn't go out and fucking buy a new fucking swanky studio to make myself look good. I wouldn't buy a green Ferrari. You know what I mean? I wouldn't do all those things just for an image thing. Because who was he doing all that stuff for? He's not doing it for his fans. He's doing it to fucking show off to the, to basically prove to the fucking haters on the Fire and the Kid subreddit that he's still successful. It's unnecessary. And now it's probably going to end up costing him to the point where he might end up having to sell some shit. Like, do you know what I mean? And that's going to be the biggest L. That's going to be a hard one to take for the ego and shit. So, big up the person who posted this. It looks like something is rumbling there. BGL has got some claims in the works, 3 going so far. Tiger Thick claim, a Thick Boy Productions claim, and a Thick Boy Studios claim that are currently under investigation. So we'll see how this plays out. It's probably going to be a long protected thing because BGL, I feel like, got fired like a year ago. It feels like it might be even not that long ago, but it feels like it's been a long time. And I've got a feeling, the wheels of justice over there don't turn that quickly. So it's going to be a while between we see it actually fixed and figured out. But hey, it seems like BGL was telling the truth. And there is some shit going on behind the scenes that we aren't too privy about. We have to kind of wait and see how all that shit plays out. Next on that front, this is another kind of interesting sidebar in this whole affair. Let's talk about this fucking Kast media shit. This has been pretty crazy again. So big up the fucking Fire and the Kid subreddit guys again for talking about this. Oh, actually, let me go to the stream chat. Sorry, I've been ignoring you guys. What are you guys saying here? The Fox Studios was free until they got to CAMPBELL. Exactly, Koila. Yeah, exactly. Imagine that. They had that Fox Studio for... They fumbled a lot of bags in it, if you think about it. They fumbled it because Fox is ESPN, right? Or am I mistaken? Is that part of the same thing? Are they under the same banner? Then you fuck up the fucking Showtime bag. Because you could easily now, if you wanted to, kind of combine Fire and the Kid with fighting, you could basically make that to be a half and half show. Lifestyle and fucking fighting talk. And have it signed on the Showtime. They fucked that up like crazy how they fucked up in so many situations. Bu says Papa's gonna call Gringo Pappy rights worth millions. Just as Brendan has said before, he has stayed in his lane. He should just podcast, maybe live shows here and there. Exactly, Josie. I personally think if you would have just streamlined, okay, Showtime thing happens, it's a bummer, it's a big deal, whatever, but just streamline and just focus on just doing the SCHAUB'S show and Fire and the Kid. Having your own thing where you do UFC and fight card breakdowns and then do Fire and the Kid, you're sorted. You could easily protect that nut. He should still be in that Theo Vaughn studio, that studio that he was given to Theo in LA. I don't know why they moved there and tried to become swanky and have this big fucking studio with all these different podcasts that never went anywhere. He should have just stuck to doing his own thing in his own studio until he got up again. But again, this need to prove everybody wrong and to prove like you're successful will end up being the death of the guy, man. He does it too often. I wonder how many of these fancy things tried expensing to the business. Yeah, true, exactly. Mother-in-law is getting kicked out of the house. He got a good point, Brandon. I forgot about that. Oh my god, that house. Good point, Brandon. Thickboy presents Meals on Wheels. Mega fan says probably be Brendan's old Porsche after repo. Yep. Now the Porsche I think he'll keep. Because I think he bought that one outright. So you're probably best decision to keep that. To be fair, I think so anyway. Unless you want to raise money in it, I guess, because they make, you know, all those guys say Porsches hold their value, right? So maybe that might be a good actually a tip. Chin's hobby is podcast world. But yeah, okay, it's Disney now. Okay, cool, my bad. I thought Fox was ESPN. Either way, they fumbled a lot of bags. That's basically what I'm saying. They signed up to all these fucking major broadcasters, and instead of just making it work for them, they end up fumbling it, and then, you know, they only have themselves to blame. So onto the Kast media shit, because I am absolutely fascinated by this stuff. It really is fascinating to me. So Kast media, from what we're led to understand, they kind of act as like a one-stop shop where they essentially, from what I can understand, again, speaking from the bottom of my ass, they're the people who handle all the podcast deals and brand deals and shit. So they basically find them, they may have a Rolodex of deals already they have, and then you sign on board with them, and they maybe either siphon out any deals they get to the pods they have available, or whatever part of the cake that they get from those, or whatever money that they get from those brands, they then divvy up. But one way or the other, they deal with ads and sponsorships for parking pods, and they all sign up with them. Every podcast in LA where the comedians are like, we're doing this independent and we're going against a man and we don't need corporations and blah, blah, blah. They all usually sign under some sort of Kast media banner thing. So it's a big deal to do it. And it's a big deal why this is a topic, because clearly something is going amiss over there at fucking Kast. So courtesy of the Final Kid subreddit, look what this person posted. Kast media may be a problem, obviously in fucking Bapanese. It says, Cats, I gotta apologize up top. I'm only really here to meet Chang's disability employment quota. They won't let me touch the fryers or sharp knives, not plating up, not seasoning. It's all minor prep and kitchen duties, hence not actually posting all of any video I'm talking about. Sorry. But yeah, I think Papa might be fucked. I was listening to the episode of 301 of wrestling legend Jim Cornette's show, Jim Cornette's Drive-Thru, and heard that Kast Media, the company who actually owned Papa's podcast, are being sued by Cornette for not making payment on monies owed. Seems they've run out of money, and the owner may even be more deluded than Brendan. Cornette feels he's personally gotten off easy, but feels bad for certain other podcasters. He said that Kast Media offered to buy his podcast and many others years ago, but Jim declined. Says he feels bad for many and some fairly big podcasters who took that offer several years ago, as they are likely now fucked and will have to take him to court. So yeah, so if you go to the video, that's a video where they talk about it a little bit. I want to see what this video is talking about. What we're saying, Mega Fan? AZ out here wearing a dead immigrant. You're saying I look like one of those washed up fucking what you call it? People on the boats that come, and sometimes, you know, they don't make it and they end up washed up on shore. Is that what you're saying I'm looking like? You guys are fucking awful. Anyway, let's play the clip here. Jim Cornette show. Let's see what he's saying about Kast Media.
A lot of questions recently from the listeners. You may have noticed a few disruptions in the podcast feed, the podcast schedule. You may have noticed that the advertisers and the very, very popular conversations we have about them have been out of the show for the last little while. There have been less commercials in the show the last little while. And this is because of a situation that emerged between us, Arcadian Vanguard, and Jim Cornette, and a company that was handling our advertising called Kast Media. And was that a good introduction?
Well, yeah, that basically lays it out there. And here's the problem. And I mentioned this a couple months ago, probably when this first became an issue and we had to start making some changes. As that you and I, some people call us control freaks. I kind of say that we are picky. We're picky about what we do and our programs. And that's why that we do everything ourselves or in-house. Unlike many other podcasts, programs, whatever, we're not with a network. And we own all of our content, and we are our own producers, and we decide what we say and talk about and what we don't. And even our editing and our administrative technical support, they work for us. They're Kippelman and old Jay Sharknado and so many more. They're highly paid, highly trained stooges. They're very
No, they're not stooges in any way. Why would you say that? Why would you say that?
They do as we direct. Now, they're not just run-of-the-mill stooges. They're not the three stooges. They're highly paid, highly trained, highly sought-after stooges.
Plus, you just named two of them.
Work.
So it can't be well, you named two. It can't be three.
Well, I didn't know if I was supposed to talk about the other guy till we clear it with his parole officer.
There is no parole officer, ladies and gentlemen.
Not that you know about. But anyway, so the point is, as I mentioned a couple months ago, but didn't go into detail about, there was one weak link in the chain, one outside entity that we had come to rely on because we had no reason for quite some time to not rely on him. And that was this weasel, alleged weasel, since this is going to court, that was running Kast Media. Wow. Who was selling our advertising to the fine advertisers that advertise on our program's advertising. But as to paraphrase Jerry Seinfeld, it's not the selling of the advertising, it's the paying for the advertising. Mm-hmm. And suddenly, there was no paying for our advertising, not from our fine sponsors who have been upset as we were about this disruption of service. They paid him, and he didn't pay us. Have I summed that up correctly, Brian?
You have summed it up. There's a lot of detail, and we should note, we're not unique in this situation. There are other shows, pretty much all the shows under the umbrella of Kast Media. Now, again, we were an outside production.
If I'm not mistaken, isn't Impulsive on the Kast Media? And Whitney Cummins' podcast and a few other ones. There's some actual big podcasts on there that are owed some big monies. Again, funny about Impulsive, innit? Because that's Logan Paul, right? So he owes people a bunch of money from that fucking crypto zoo nonsense stuff, refuses to refund them, and most likely he got scammed as well on his end. So maybe in his defense, he's probably like, look, at the highest echelons of Hollywood, everybody is scamming. Even on every level probably in the entertainment industry, there's a scam. There's a scam running when you first get in and you first get signed. There's a scam coming in when you want to level up. There's a scam coming in when you want to level up higher than that, when you want to start going on tours, when you want to start doing this and that. There's always a scam that's going to meet you. So maybe Logan Paul's defense is going to be that, hey, you go into the game with a fucking person in this scene, it kind of is what it is. This is the nature of the beast. There's always a scam happening.
We were just using them for advertising support. There are other shows that are in the unfortunate position of being Kast productions or may not have a big audience and may not know what to do. So we're in a better position than most, but this happened to many.
Yes, and here's the thing. This idiot was working for us for a straight commission. You sell the advertising just like anybody else on Madison Avenue, right? And as a bonus to us, and this is where it got a little sticky, we had to get some changes made. As a bonus to us, and we will provide the platform that your podcast is on, right? The feeds and everything.
Right. He had stopped me because I was going to set up our own hosting several years back after we had already been doing business with them for maybe a year or so. And he said, we're going to do it. We'll cover your cost. And we just want to, continue to be a part of the advertising.
Yeah, give you a little bonus there. Okay, well, since
it wasn't a bonus. I wouldn't call it a bonus.
Give us a little something to save us a few $1,000s a month when the billing for his company, the commission off of our advertising just last year alone was 6 figures for him. So he beneficially, just charitably, I'll save you a couple grand a month. Well, okay, fine. right?
With no overhead. Important
We
to
didn't
note,
think
again,
we were putting him out.
Again, no overhead for him or his company because we are an independent production. All the costs are ours.
So basically, you get the fucking gist of it. Kast Media looks like they're in big trouble. So again, this may play into a little bit of Brendan's current situation. I'm kind of making some really stretches and big leaps and probably making connections with stuff that don't really exist, but this explains a lot of what's kind of currently going on. Maybe a little bit, you know? The need to kind of start censoring the pods and censoring out the swear words and changing the days of when it drops and shit. Stuff is happening. The lack of views on the pod, because I feel like before Brendan or somebody on the team was clearly buying views for the pod and then they stopped. I'm not too sure if they stopped because there's no money or because they stopped because they were told, hey, this isn't helping your ability to get fucking advertising. Maybe Brian Callen's return, post-rape allegations, I'm not too sure. But there's so many things going on. At the heart of it, it's just money. It's just a lack of money coming in. There's clearly been a bit of a downturn in podcasts as well. I think a lot of you guys in the stream chat can attest to that. I think myself even, I've started to really focus in on like 3 or 4 comedy shows, podcasts I listen to. The rest of them, I only see the clips of what I see online, on Reddit or on like fucking forums and shit, on, you know, social media. I don't really see anything else. I think a lot of people have basically stopped listening to pods in general as much as they did maybe in the past. Maybe that then is affecting these brands and these platforms' ability to go out there and get fucking deals and shit or get people to pay them. I don't know. But there's definitely been a sea change in terms of the podcast industry out there. So I think it's all kind of starting to kind of feed into the other. I don't know. This is just my theory. I don't know what's happening, but I think there's something going on there in terms of the money issue. But yeah, Kast Media is something that's happening, and I think the next domino to blow maybe Bent Pixels. Probably not, because fucking Rogan's backing it. Do you know what I mean? There's no way that's going to go anywhere. But Bent Pixels may be the last one to kind of blow and kind of go down the shitter, because clearly there's an issue at hand here with some of these places. There's clearly an issue at hand here. Moving on, let's talk about another one here. Where is it? Let me see here. Where's that clip I wanted to play? Bear with me a sec as I get it up here. Not this, not that. Not this, not that, not this, not that. Yeah, this is the one. Cool. This is one of my good ones as well. This is what people are saying here. Machine Chat Uche saying, I wonder what came of the Tiger Belly lawsuit, if anything. Oh no, I checked that before. There wasn't no update. I've been checking on it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not checking the fucking filings, but I've been just checking the news section of Google, and I haven't seen an update on the Bobby Lee lawsuit with that company called Wonderly or something, I think it was called. So I haven't seen that so far. But again, I don't think he's got any chance of winning that one, because he's essentially trying to argue that they cancelled their podcasting deal with them. Wonderly cancelled it with Bobby Lee when that whole Tijuana story got regurgitated on TikTok. So they obviously, you know, broke off the agreement because, you know, he was bad for business at the time. And Bobby Lee's trying to argue, oh, you knew what I was about before you signed the deal. You did a due diligence and you signed off on me because you thought I was, you know, because you was okay with all the shit that I did because I was going to have so much benefit in the other end. And then change their mind. But I just don't think it's going to hold up, because that Tijuana story is fucking wild, you know? If they ever ask to repeat that again in the court or get a transcript of it, it's going to sound even worse than what it sounded like when he was saying it as a joke. So yeah, I don't think that's happening anytime soon. But you know, it's worth a try if you're Bobby Lee. You should try. This is courtesy of the Friday subreddit. It says Crystalia gets annoyed with Brendan. I fucking love this one. This one's good.
I don't think he does stand up.
A British comic?
No, he's American, isn't
he?
Yeah.
I don't know. Wow, man, he's a good actor.
Oh, does he be British in it and stuff?
I don't know.
Oh wow, this guy just saying shit, huh?
Oh, he's an American history.
People
King,
will literally
Queens, the Queen.
Let's go one more time. One more time.
I don't think he does stand up.
A British comic?
No, he's American, isn't he? Yeah.
I don't know. Wow, man, he's a good actor.
Oh, does he be British in it and stuff?
I don't know.
Oh wow, this guy just saying shit, huh?
This is funny because I think someone mentioned it in the comments or replies of another clip I made. Basically saying that, you know, they're disappointed, like, do you know what I mean? Because they were big fans of Chris, and it's just sad to see how he's kind of end up where he's ended up. I don't think it's sad because clearly the guy's a creep and a monster, but I just think it's hilarious that at one point in Chris D'Elia's career, he used to treat Brendan and Brian like they were literally beneath him, like, and they kind of were at one point, but there was a clear hierarchy in terms of pecking order. They all understood Chris is the big draw. As Brendan would say, we're nobodies, right? Nobody knows who you are. And then very quickly things changed to the point where now Chris is depending on Brendan Shaw for a paycheck. He needs his paycheck. He turns up every fucking week. He never misses a show. He's there all the time. He actually needs this money. He needs this exposure. He needs this look. He needs this attention. He needs it. But there's a point in time where, you know, I don't think, did Brendan ever appear on Chris D'Elia's podcast? Can you think about that? I don't think so. Did he ever appear on there? I doubt it. So he never once appeared on Chris D'Elia's pod. I don't think Brian did, apart from the pod that they did after he got cancelled. So then all of a sudden, Brendan worms his way into his life, pretends to be his best friend, and now he can't, you know, unshackle himself from fucking Brendan's fucking grip because he actually needs him. He legitimately needs him in this stage of his career. I think this is fucking beautiful. I love how karma works.
Oh, he's an American history.
People
King
were
and
literally.
Queens. The Queen was bad as fuck.
Who?
In King and Queens. Back
King,
then.
what's the name of the show?
King and Queens.
That's the name of the show. Are you talking about King of Queens?
Yes.
I love how he just refuses to just admit his mistake. King and Queen, the King of Queen, like, Jesus Christos, man. Inability to just say the simplest of words is just one of the ultimate redacted signs. And just as well, just admit it. Hold your hands up and say, oh yeah, my bad, I fucked up. Nah. Let's just do that shark eyes dolphin smile. So that shark eyes dolphin smile thing that he does, where he's just like a 10-yard death stare and keep it moving. But let's not admit our mistake. Let's just keep it moving. And these guys try and make it seem like it's funny and it's hilarious when really deep down they're all dying inside because they're like, hold on, this guy's the dumbest guy between us three, but he's also maybe the richest. Like, how is that possible? You know, they're all probably thinking that deep in their heads, like, fucking hell, this guy's actually paying our wages, and he legitimately is redacted.
Completely different show.
Yeah.
King and Queen.
You're talking about
that's a gay edition.
Yeah.
She was bad back
You're like
then.
an old. You know what?
was
You're like
bad?
an old man, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
You're just like an old man.
Who was bad?
She was hot.
Leah Remini.
Married to the fat guy.
That's fine. She was pretty, but you're talking
Back
about
then?
No, dude.
Sitcom?
bro. We're talking
Come
about
back to see Eric on
mine's
the 28th.
on the Monday, whatever it is.
I'll
So
tell you
I'm
what,
just
if you're in
working shit out.
Phoenix,
Whoops, we're
if
still
you're in
talking.
Phoenix,
Yeah,
August
okay.
11th, James Cameron's going to open for me.
Whoa.
James
Really?
Yeah, he's talking about submarines.
Whoa.
Stand Up Live, 2 shows Friday,
Where?
August 11th. Stand Up Live, Phoenix.
Oh, it's awesome.
I love it.
Yeah, I
there.
love that place. That's a great place.
JT's Wings, best chicken wings you ever had in your life.
Don't ever say that.
Irvine Improv.
Oh,
Well,
take him to
he's-
Haunted House.
No,
Zach
bring him on.
Baggins'
They're
Haunted
never
House.
gonna.
15 degrees anyway.
I love how he keeps touching Chris, and like I said before, I think Chris personally, it's my just humble opinion from just some rubbish observations, but I have a feeling that Chris is one of those guys that doesn't like getting touched. He doesn't like rough play. He doesn't like any of that shit. He didn't play sports. He's clearly not into it. Doesn't care for it in the slightest. And if he was a bigger star and didn't have, you know, the smudge of fucking being a diddler against his name, he'd make it more clearer. But in this position, he can't because that guy pays his wages. So he has to kind of just pretend like it's okay with it when really it's killing him inside.
We're not
No,
leaving the
scare the
hotel.
shit out of him. Take him to Zach
Okay,
Baggins'
well,
Haunted
he's
House.
3 months old.
Yeah, I know, really scared.
What's the haunted house thing?
Zach Baggins. From Ghost Adventures.
Is it act? Oh, well,
Oh,
that's
it's so haunted.
okay. No.
It is creepy out,
Dude.
dude. They have Sharon Tate's dress that she got
It's
stabbed
so annoying. Well, that's not haunted. That's
in.
just
Survive that and tell me you don't believe in
Baggins?
ghosts. Survive it.
What's it called?
Did you
Zach
go to?
Baggins.
Do you go to?
Now what? Come on. Okay, it's ended probably. That's probably why. Anyway, doesn't matter. All done. You see the fucking vibe of it. That's a perfect place to kind of let's actually get that screen grab. That's a fucking perfect screen grab there. That describes Chris D'Elia's position perfectly actually on that fucking screen. Doesn't want to be there, but kind of has to be there, you know? Describes it fucking personally. Just describes it perfectly. Sorry, personally. Jesus Christ. Let's move on from that one, and then let's maybe end it with one of these. Let me just pick one. Let me see. Yes, pick this. Oh yeah, let's go for this. This is Luis J. Gomez going back and forth with some guy on Twitter. I'm not too sure what this guy's deal is. There's a user here called like Eggy who's got Luke Thomas's picture as his avatar, who has been trolling fucking Luis J. Gomez for fucking Luis. I said Luis Joe, however you fucking pronounce his name. LJG or Gomez. Let's call him Gomez. Who's been fucking trolling Gomez for fucking what? The best part of a few hours. And in the process of trolling Gomez, he then decides to troll him about Brendan, and Gomez basically makes it very clear that him and Brendan are friends now. So this is a real big turn of events actually happening in real time, where we're seeing Gomez doing what he does best. Go after and insult people in LA, stand-up comedians basically, about how they live and what they do. But then really and truly, deep down, he actually just wants to be part of the cool guys club. He's just pissed off that he's never really been part of it, basically. There are some New York guys that feel like you do their own thing, which is all good, and they don't really care about the LA scene. But there's also some dudes who it's quite clear that because they were never part of it, they just insult it because they know they're never going to be friends with Rogan. They're never going to get on Rogan. They're never going to be part of that cool club, especially now that they've all gone to Austin. I think that's part and parcel of it, because if you look and you scroll up, you see him going back and forth with this guy. This guy says to him he just wants to be famous. There's a reason why he wanted Rogan somebody to like him. Gomez replies, LOL, I just want to be famous, so that's why I keep saying fucked up shit on camera, stupid bitch. The guy replies back to him and says, he replies back to him and says, look at this dumb bitch of a man who has another man whose profile as a picture. If you see men like this, smack them in their fucking pussy faces. Another one, the guy says, Jimmy's got rustled. I guess I hit a nerve. Gomez replies back and says, I'm on a flight. F word. What's your excuse for using another man's face as a profile picture? I love this as like a way to kind of clap back at people. I'm on a flight. I'm just on the shitter and stuff. Like, if you're replying, you're replying. There's no way to kind of make yourself look cooler because you happen to be on a flight. That's why you're replying. Doesn't work that way. Another one says, the guy says to him, what? Get mad, Luis. It's the only time you're funny. Keep watching, bitch. That was quite good, actually, to be fair. It was quite a little good burn. Another one. I'm hoping he's hilarious if he's actually got mad at telling me his truth. All he has as a comeback is why he isn't my proper picture, blah, blah. Let me see what he said about Brendan. There we go. Here, there's a Brendan bit. So the guy says to him, you're a lame-ass social media influencer that is trying to be funny, and that's all you got, the basics. Come on, bruh. I gotta be honest. Schaub might be funnier than you, and he is a worse. He's the worst. B. At least what he says is unintentionally funny. And then Lewis replies back to him and says, referencing Brendan Schaub, look at where you are in life, B. Enjoying the fights in the kids subreddit. It's all you have. Truly sad. LOL, you made your profile picture Luke Thomas because he's the manager at PF Chang's. What an actual loser. So it looks like Luis J. Gomez is in a way to get back at this guy. He's also slyly insulting my fucking home, PF Chang's, and making it known that he thinks those guys are losers because clearly Brendan's gonna be at fucking Legion of Skanks in it's September and shit. So clearly they've been a little bit more pally. They're probably talking on the phone a lot more. And Lewis is doing what he always does. He talks a big game about these LA guys. And then when he's confronted with them face to face, he cowers and just tries to be their friends. Because deep down, that's what he always wanted to be. He wanted to be part of the cool club. He never was invited. And, and his basically trolling of these guys, the same way they're trying to keep people do, was just a way for him to kind of get their attention in a roundabout shape or form, or to basically vent, for not being invited. It's just, they're going back and forth for ages, to be honest. It feels like hours. I've just scrolled up on his profile, but as you can see, they just keep going back and forth. It's kind of lame, but the name of the fucking game is this tweet over here, where essentially it feels like Luis J. Gomez is making it very known that him and Brendan are cool now. You know, they are friends. That's why he's making it kind of known here in this post that you got up there. So I guess the whole arc of Luis kind of sticking it to the man and fighting against the LA comedic stand-up industrial complex is completely gone. You know, that shit has completely gone. Anyways, my friends, I'm going to love you and leave you. It's approaching nearly 4 a.m. over here. I need to get to sleep to wake up tomorrow for work and shit. So I do appreciate those who have checked in and stuff. The rest of the tabs, I'm going to leave them for tomorrow and probably do them after I finish work. So if you're back again then, we'll do it then. But I am going to leave it and finish the show right there for those of you that are still tuning in. So if you are still tuning in, please make sure you smash the like button for me before you leave. That'd be greatly appreciated. But yeah, this is the end of the random show episode number 129, I think, or something like that. Yeah, I'm dropping frames all over the place as well, so I probably need to shut down my computer and let it rest a bit, but because it's fucking annoying me. But anyway, regardless, appreciate all of you that are tuning in. Sorry for the lag and shit in places. Hopefully it doesn't affect your listening pleasure too tough, but I will remedy the situation as quickly as I can. But big up those who are tuning in. It's been a pleasure, never a chore. And I'll see all of you again very, very soon. Big up everybody tuning in. Big up all of you. Hopefully this fucking thing stops. Is it going to stop dropping? Yeah, it's still fucking freezing. Doesn't matter. But anyway, thank you for tuning in. Been a pleasure, all as a chore. Big up everybody in the stream chat. Big up Charles Lucas in there. Brandon, I see you. Big up you. Big up Mega Fan. Big up Uche. Big up Logos Cartel. Josie, I appreciate you. Big up Vagabond, I appreciate you. Big up John Adams, I appreciate you. Crooked Adams. Jackie, I appreciate you. Teju was here. Bu was here. Sting Agu was here. Yeah, all of you in the stream chat. Fifth Keith, Sween, 1337, appreciate you. So many of you in the chat. I appreciate every single one of you. Coiler, of course, my guy. And I'll see you all again very soon. Peace out, my friends.